The owl of the night. What groovy music he makes.
It's Enshohma's night owl, skipping by the whirling shore.
Disco, please see a song. Chicken dinner. Jack Oxen. Chicken dinner. Oh, this is insane. Okay. That's weird. Okay.
I'm so sleepy I can't seem to keep awake.
And now it's time for night owling with that fuzzy-faced friendly giant. Enshohma.
Oh! Yeah!
Hello everybody, how you doing? To anybody who's in the comment section right now. Okay, so I had nothing better to do. Kind of had a rough yesterday. Just woke up recently, decided what the hell, might as well do one of these. I don't know if anybody's going to come on tonight's show or not, if we're going to have any guests. But if they want to come in, I will invite them to a chat area, although so far it's slim pickings. It might be Nick, it might be Laura, it might be Andres, but for the most part, I think it's really just going to be me and me by myself, although thankfully we have some chirping crickets in the background, so it won't be too distracting. And we have one person in the audience I think you have been on my shows before, Common Writer. I do recognize the name. He says, love your stuff, Mr. Enshohma. Oh, thank you. That means a lot when people call me Mr. My schedule has kept me from seeing one of your streams, but I'm glad that I got some free time here to be here. Okay, awesome. And I do realize that I'm in the Los Angeles area, so things are a lot earlier for me than it probably is where you're at. I know that the vast majority of fans I have who join me on my little live streams, both on YouTube and elsewhere, they're located in the Central Time Zone. So yeah, but I'm just going to be doing some artwork and just kind of going over some little things here and there. We got Doomzilla. He says, well, this is a surprise stream this evening, Mr. Raff. Yeah, I know, it was a surprise for me too. Because oh wait, I got some announcements, but first let me check if I'm coming out okay on the microphone. We got Doomzilla. He says, well, this is a surprise stream this evening, Mr. Raff. I understand. It was a surprise for me too. Yeah. Because oh wait, I got some announcements, but first let me check if I'm coming out. Yeah, I'm going to get to those announcements now, you talking idiots. But yeah, isn't Roku wonderful? Roku is fantastic. I highly recommend you guys get Rokus. I know that streaming services are becoming a pain in the ass and they're no better than cable stations now. But for $30, if you can find yourself a decent Roku device, they are definitely worth it, because there are plenty of free services out there. If you're weird monster movie fan lovers like I myself, you can easily get something like Tubi or Pluto Television, or the Comet Network's okay. That's one of those channels you can only get on a television antenna network. They still do that. Unfortunately, the problem with Comet is, despite being kind of like the local mom and pop sci-fi channel, they suffer some of the worst commercial breaks imaginable. Pluto TV and Tubi also have commercial breaks, but it's a small price to pay, and thankfully in the case of Tubi, their commercial breaks are reliable. They tell you how many you got to sit through before you get back to your program. As opposed to maybe Crunchyroll, where their streaming service, like, I like Crunchyroll, but when you start playing the same anime commercial 16 times in a row, without any sign of stopping, then it's a totally different situation there. But yeah, let's go through some announcements, and then I'll get back to the comments, whatever comments there are, as I do some artwork tonight. And like I said, if to anybody I know who usually likes to come in on the show, if you're in the chat area and you want to come in, I'll set up a StreamYard chat room, and then we'll bring you on tonight's show. But for the most part, it's just me tonight. Okay, so tomorrow night on my official Twitch channel, Enshohma Lives, I will be doing a Peter Cushing versus the Daleks night. In fact, that's the point of tonight's live stream, why it's called Peter Cushing's... Oh, wait a minute. What is the name of tonight's show? Oh, yeah, it doesn't say so. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why I called tonight's episode Prelude to Peter Cushing's Pepper Pot Crushing. Because we're going to be doing a double feature of the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies, which I think one of them are currently available on Tubi if you can't make it tomorrow. Although my streams are usually saved, so you can watch them a couple of days ahead, a couple of days when I'm not around. And basically, they're very fun movies. They're standalone movie adaptations of the Doctor Who serials that go much longer than they should. It's like, you know, back then when Doctor Who was like a proper soap opera, these things would go on for like 6 to 10 episodes. So yeah, it's a double feature of the Peter Cushing Dalek movies, followed by the 1 hour-ish documentary Dalek Mania, which was included with the DVD box set released by Anchor Entertainment. And I don't know if the Anchor Entertainment DVD box set for the Dalek movies are still in print, although I know Kino Lorber, which is a really good Blu-ray DVD company in its own right, picked up the rights and republished them. But yeah, you'll be basically watching these movies off my copy. If push comes to shove, we might have to do a live watch on the Tubi itself, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's starting a little later, but again, it's 10 p.m. Central Time, which technically is 8 p.m. for me here on the Californian coast. I'm in Pacific Time, and for those of you in the Eastern Time zones, it's 11 p.m. It is going to be a late night airing, but it will be fairly. I think it works out. It's on a Saturday night. It should work out. I know that Shay Zilla says he won't be able to attend. He's usually a big Doctor Who fan. And to anybody who doesn't have a Twitch account, you can still watch a Twitch stream as long as you have the right link. But if you're actually a Twitch member, you can comment in the chat section. I'm going to see if I can try to do a corresponding YouTube chat, but I highly doubt that, and that's something I'd rather do as a test night before I do it officially. So if you just want to come and see Peter Cushing in his doing his own charming take on the Doctor, fighting some classic Daleks that are not far removed from the TV version, other than those colorful, oversized props they used to portray them, definitely come out and check me out on Twitch TV and Enshohma Lives. You'll have to put in the link yourself, which is there on the screen right now, because that's sort of a way I kind of keep some of the spam bots out of the chat. Let's quickly go over the chat section before I move on to the next announcement. Doomzilla falls up, same here in the Pacific Time Zone, Raph. Oh yeah, okay, cool. You're in the same one I am in. I found a cheap Roku device around $20. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'm glad to hear that. Common Writer says, I use Tubi all the time. It's a gold mine for B-movies. Going to watch Laser Blast sometime this week or 3. Oh, darn. Laser Blast is a hard one to sit through, and I've only seen it through the Mystery Science Theater version, so... And then Doomzilla says, Comet TV is fun and does occasionally show Godzilla fans. I do agree, the crappy commercial breaks. And then Common Writer says, I only used Crunchyroll once. I stopped after it played 10 ads in a row. I've seen almost all your streams, just not live. Well, Common Writer, I'm happy to have you here. I'm not the best at keeping on top of comments, but I will definitely try to do my best to read them. I will not comment on them through text because I'll be doing some artwork later tonight. Well, actually, I'll be doing some artwork pretty soon, actually. Okay, so let's get rid of the Dalek thing and move on to the next announcement. Okay, so the Dalek triple feature is tomorrow night. But on Tuesday night here on my YouTube channel, I decided to do the Enshohma Does a Godzilla Kaiju tier list thingamajig. And it's just going to be me by myself again, rating and ranking all the different Godzilla monsters based on a tier list I found on the Tier Maker website. And it's just something fun for me to do. And sadly, this one I'm definitely going to deny any guests for coming in. And I'm definitely going to be very light on the comments because I do not want any guests or outside influences to compromise what my personal feelings of all these different monsters. Now, it's not a complete Godzilla list. Whoever made it, the one I'm using, is a pretty good list with a lot of different monsters. But you can see there's a lot of bias towards it. For one thing, it keeps insisting that all the different Godzilla suit designs throughout the Showa era are completely different characters, which is just nonsense. So I will do my best to try to go around that. I may even alter the tier list itself, but this is just kind of a joke preview of what to expect. So all the Godzillas at the bottom, D list, and Giant Condor as the S tier top. So, but that's not really my feelings. But yeah, come along, see what I think about all these various mainstream Godzilla villains, because there are a lot more Godzilla monsters out there, villains and heroes, not just the villains. But yeah, you'll get to hear my thoughts on each one. I will count Godzillas from different continuities as their own characters, but I will definitely ignore it. Say if there's like multiple versions of Godzilla just because the suit looks slightly different in the same continuity. So there's going to be a lot of extra Heisei and Showa characters I'm going to skip. But yeah, I think this will be pretty fun. Hold on. Yeah, let's see. There's another announcement I want to make, but I got to... I forgot to put the title card in for that one, so let's see what I can do. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. And currently on my Twitch channel, free to watch, I did a basic live airing, no audio commentary from me whatsoever, of 2 episodes from my brother Miguel and his friends Jason and Mike's wonderful comedy podcast called Time Mule, which you can listen to on Apple Podcasts for free. Although I'm trying to work out a deal with Gabe and his friends to actually upload whole video episodes here on YouTube. We almost did it with the Turkish Star Wars, but unfortunately a company did a copyright claim and blocked it from all viewing around the world. So what I did on Twitch is I decided to air the special episode I made, which actually has the movie playing in the corner, where you see the poster there. And that's currently available on Twitch for you to revisit and watch, and it should be on there for the next 7 or 10 days. Again, it's on Enshohma Lives. And sadly, I don't think this version of the video will be available on YouTube anytime soon. I'm going to try to talk to my friend Brendan Tenold about how to kind of get past it, because the copyright claim is incredibly suspect. It's from one of those so-called film companies that say they make films, and yet there's not a single evidence of films anywhere. And the wording itself is really draconian. I don't want to say far right, but it's, you know, it's one of those things like, we're making movies that the mainstream liberals don't understand. And know this, I'm sort of a nonpartisan, semi-progressive. There's some things about old school conservatism I actually enjoy a lot, and I think really should be implemented more. But also, I'm, you know, to quote the Green Arrow from the DC animated universe, I'm an old lefty, and, you know, the government should help its people as often as it can. But I'm not going to get political tonight, especially since we got a new person here, and I want to keep this all fun and happy. But yeah, it really felt like one of those weird scam companies that just says things that they think is popular in America. So, but enough of that. Anyways, but yeah, definitely check out Time Mule. It's a hilarious series, even better than some of the live stream bullshit I do here. Nonsense, crapola. But yeah, definitely come on board to the Twitch channel. Check out the Turkish live commentary with the movie that plays in, with subtitles. And then after that, there is aired an episode of Time Mule called The Best of Time Mule, which is sort of a false clip show of the Time Mule show. But yeah, definitely check that out. But yeah, let's go over the announcements one more time. Okay, we got tomorrow. Okay, okay. Yes, currently we have the Time Mule double feature stream that's archived and temporarily available to watch. And hopefully I'll have more episodes of Time Mule to be posted on this channel. tomorrow night, also on my Twitch channel, will be the Peter Cushing versus the Dalek triple feature featuring Doctor Who and the Daleks, Daleks Invasion of Earth 2120. I think that's the name, 2131, I think. I forgot what the name of the sequel is. I just call it Daleks Invasion of Earth. Followed by the 1-hour documentary Dalek Mania. And then Tuesday night, we got Enshohma does the Godzilla Kaiju tier list thingamajig. So, where it's just me, my thoughts on these various monsters. I will occasionally read comments from the chat, but for the most part, this is me and me alone for sure. I might, if I have some people who want to come aboard after the list here, I'll do it, but for the most part, no outside influences or anything of that nature. Okay, so getting back to this, let me check what the chat section has to say. Warrior King says, yo, hey Warrior King, it's good to see you here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Common Writer says, question, I assume you are aware of one of the fellow artists, Dim Stroke, is a fan of your, are you a fan? Oh yeah, no, I like James Stroke very much. He does some really beautiful artwork, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the same guy behind, what is it called? Godzilla, the Half-Century War? Because that is a really good graphic novel, not just because of the artwork, but just the concept itself alone. It's a really neat little dramatic character study within a lot of kaiju-related action sequences. Granted, though, it's still horribly simplistic, but it definitely shows the strengths one can get from a Godzilla graphic novel. And I do have it on my bookshelf here. And then Common Writer says, I don't care what people are voting their opinions. Oh, he just removed it. Okay, that's all right. Oh yeah, Warrior King says, I look forward to the tier list. Yes, and I know that you're in Eastern time zone, Warrior King, so I'm going to try to move it a little earlier than usual so you can check it out. But yeah, the tier list is definitely this Tuesday no matter what. And yes, that is one of my all-time favorite comics, says Common Writer. Okay, excellent. Okay, so let me double check the outdoor cricket noises are going well. Because without the outdoor cricket noises, it sounds even more awkward. It sounds something like this. See? It's like, well, actually, yeah, I did this thing where I'm covering the Yeti Blue Yeti microphone with a paper towel to act as sort of a buffer. Now, here's a fun trick. If you want to do sound effects, like a windy sound effect. It's so windy out here. I don't know if I can continue this weather broadcast from outside, Jane. Oh, God. Oh, no. The winds are getting even worse. Oh, my God. Jim the cameraman is dead. Ah! Okay. Yeah, that's just me moving a napkin over the Blue Yeti microphone like that. And it actually makes a very good sound effect as far as, like, heavy winds go. But yeah, I'm using it as sort of a makeshift buffer, so you don't, because without it, it sounds even worse like this. Like, it sounds, I don't know how that sounds. It's going to sound pretty good. Like, I don't know. This is me without a buffer over the microphone. La, 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 la. Okay. And this is me with the buffer over the microphone. La, 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 la. Okay, let me know which one sounds a little better on your end. So, Warrior King says, nice. I'm on vacation this week, so it works perfectly for me. Oh, excellent. And yeah, Warrior King, I will be replying to your emails and doing some major stuff this week, too. I just got to finish one lingering commission, which is pretty much done. I may end up working on it later tonight. Okay, Common Writer says he moved it because of the typos. Totally understandable. Typos are pretty terrible. He says, I meant to say I don't mind people voting their opinion on politics. I think everyone should be able to say their opinion without getting canceled. Yeah, just as long as their opinions don't lead to people being physically or hurt or screwed over. And sadly, I think a lot of Americans are so divided that they can't see common ground. I think that's why so many people in this country will immediately go to scapegoats to blame their problems on instead of actual big problems. You know, a perfect example is, you know, Ted Cruz. That guy, Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott have screwed over Texas so many times, and yet, you know, they send shade to, like, you know, the liberals and they still get voted, and it's seriously, they suck. They're almost as terrible as Obama. So I don't know, but anyways, yeah. And then Warrior King says, I need to learn how to use live stream or make YouTube videos someday. If you need pointers, I'll be happy to help you out there. So, but yeah, Warrior King's a cool dude. So I got Doomzilla, Common Rider, and Warrior King. Oh, yes, back to the crickets outside. Yeah, because yeah, me and just droning dead air does not sound good, and this is kind of a calming thing. And plus, it matches the kind of the mood of night owling. So, but yeah, let me just do one more quick check on some stuff before we begin our stream proper. Okay. Got to make sure I'm not getting messages in my Facebook of anybody who wants to join in, which I think is highly doubtful at this point, because again, I did this all on the last minute. Okay, nothing there. We're good. Okay. Alright, then I think we are golden. Okay, so yeah, I will keep the comment section open. I will read it, but yeah, let's get to the artwork. Well, where are you? There you are. Okay. So yeah, say goodbye to little cartoon. Actually, Cartoon Raph will be coming back pretty soon. Let me just set up the videos that the things I need to do, so... Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. By the way, OBS is a free system and it works wonders for this stuff, especially when you have it on the what is it called? Oh, the studio mode. So, all right. Hold on. Oh, there you are. Okay, that's where I screwed up. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. We're so far, and concurrent viewership is 5 people. Excellent. So yeah, if okay. Let me check the comments one last time. Yes, that as well. I actually have made several videos that are just so self-conscious to upload yet. Yeah, I know how that feels. There's a lot of projects I haven't done because I was just too kind of self-conscious and what is it when you're apprehensive about stuff? Insecure, I guess? I don't know, something of that nature. So yeah, let me take a quick drink. Oh yeah, that's good. Let me refill it. Tonight's sponsor is Soleil Sparkling Water, Raspberry Lime, store brand sparkling drink. Little on the bland side, but not bad. No calories, no sweeteners, no sodium. And relatively cheap at your local... Oh, wait. Let me pull that closer to the microphone. That's kind of a cool noise. Yes. This is all experimentation, too, for her later podcasts as well, so... Okay, not bad. Alright, just a drink nearby in case my throat gets parched. Okay. Alright, so let's get to work here. Alright. Okay, so if you guys have any random comments or things you just want to say, let me know. And, there we go. Okay. Alright, we're already 25 minutes in. Let's do some artwork. So this is Saurine crustacea, formerly known as Queen Cancer. And since May is about to end, I might as well finish her picture. She's supposed to be a giant lobster mermaid type monster. And originally her name was Queen Cancer, you know, named after the, what is it? The Greek zodiac symbol or a constellation. But Queen Cancer, despite, you know, obviously Cancer being a constellation, it has much darker connotations these days. So I'm going to be changing the character's name to Sarline Crustacea, a name recommended by Win. And it's a good name. It matches because she's supposed to be like a demigod sea monster. But yeah, I want to finish her tonight. So, because let's see, I got the gradients almost done. I just got little tidbits here and there to do. Her color work is pretty good. Unfortunately, with the gradients, both kind of cancel the other out, so it doesn't look too good. Okay. And what else is there to do? Oh, the background. Yeah, okay, the background's going to be a pain in the butt, so we'll see what happens. I may just do some basic clouds. Actually, yeah, to keep you guys interested, I'm going to do some basic clouds before I get into the dumb stuff. Okay. Alright, and I am using a program called Photopea. Photopea. It is a completely free online photo editor and sort of a great free substitute to Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, even though in Adobe Photoshop is a much better system than this. But this is really good for what it is. And I think I'm going to end up paying for Photopea just to show support to this great program. But this thing has been a lifesaver, especially since Adobe Photoshop has gone the way of online subscription, which sucks because no program should be an online subscription. And that's bad enough in its own right, but it's gotten way worse thanks to the insane price hike. It's like, what is it? I think you pay like $900 a year, if not $500, $400 a month. So it sucks. So okay. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. And I have it set up in a way that it'll just be the Photopea alone, so there shouldn't be any other distractions unless I open another window on the same window. So, okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, right. Okay, going to my folder, current works. That's where I keep a lot of when I'm doing stuff like that. Okay, this is a little color palette I made for myself ages ago. So, there's really no need for this, but for my own personal use, it works out great. Okay, let's see what we've got. Oh, yeah. Right. And I'm not going to be working on Sarline Crustacea all night. There's another picture that I'm going to be working later. So, alright. Okay, fill you up with colors as opposed to something else. Okay. Oh, yeah, and there's this Godzilla picture I'm going to try to do tonight. Hey! Win's in the audience! If I make a recommendation, Clip Art Studio is pretty good program. Got it from my old computer for roughly $50. Also, hi, Raph. Hey, Win! Hey, it's great to see you, Win. It's probably late on your end. Right now it's almost 12:30. But if you want to join in, Win, for a little while, go ahead, because there's something I do want to ask you a question about the whole nerd mainstream thing that I was going to bring up by myself. But yeah, Win, if you want to come on for at least a couple of minutes or a half an hour, I'm more than happy to bring you aboard. I'll start a StreamYard. If not, it's just great to see you in the comments section. But yeah, for the most part, I don't think I'm really going to have any guests unless Win says otherwise. So, but yeah. Oh, and by the way, Win, I'm working on the monster formerly known as Queen Cancer, and I decided to go with your name of Sarline Crustacea, because it is a really good name, and it's definitely a lot better than the old name, and it's a lot better than something a little pun based, like what did we have, like Lobsterella and Cindy Crawfish. So yeah, Sarline Crustacea is her new name. But yeah, so sure, I got a minute or two. Okay, then yeah, let me. Oopsie. Okay, this is where I kind of screwed up a bit. Let me set up a StreamYard chat room to bring in Win, so that way it's not just me babbling on for the next few hours. Yeah, I do the stupid singing when I got to do things. Okay. Here we go. Enter studio. At the okay, hold on. I just gotta do some dumb stuff here. Alright, stop cam mic. Oh. Oh, darn. Okay, hold on. Darn, let me invite Win first before I forget, because now I just kind of screwed myself up here. Okay. I'm terrible at multitasking. Sorry about the blue screen. Just think of it as a Robot's Death Life fan art, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Okay, and I'm sending you the stream. It's basically the same StreamYard room that we always use, Win. But yeah, I'm sending it to you again in case the code did change a bit. So, okay, stop cam, enter studio, add to stream. Okay, so we might actually have Win coming aboard in a little while. Okay, and Warrior King says I hate to bring up politics again, but I just want to agree with you, Raph, on that. There's too much division in this country right now. Demos versus repubs, etc., and it's just getting out of hand. Yeah, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it's not only getting out of hand, but it's getting fanatical, and it's bad enough that it's already getting fanatical, but it's getting worse because it's screwing over us, normal people. Just a quick note: consider that we're going through a baby food crisis going on, a formula crisis. That started at the tail end of Trump's presidency, but he didn't want to do anything about it because, the formula didn't want... Oh, okay. Forget about politics. We got Win. So, add to stream. Hi, Win.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? So, I know it's pretty late on your end, so we won't go too crazy, but how you doing?
I'm doing as alright as one can.
Okay, excellent. It's good to have you here. So for a moment there, I thought it was going to be me by myself and everyone else in chat. So, okay. So, oh, wait a minute. What am I doing here? Okay, hold on. I'm terrible at Okay, there we go. So, yeah, what do you think that we decided to go with Queen Crustacea as your name for your monster name? I mean, Sarline Crustacea.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes, so... Yeah, and let me share the window too, so you're not completely in the dark about what I'm doing here. So, okay, there we go.
Oh, that's coming out really good.
Yes, yes. So I decided to put like little algae in her hair as like highlights. So, all right, but yeah, she's almost practically done here. I just gotta do a background for her and finish off some of the gradients here. So, but yeah, Win, are you familiar with Well, here's a question I wanted to bring up to you since you're a bigger anime fan than I am. And you don't have to go into detail because it's obvious it's pretty late on your end and you sound tired. But is it hard to be an anime fan when there's so much anime coming down the pipeline? Because I tend to notice that with so far you've been pretty good about it, but it's like I know certain people in my circles, more acquaintances than friends, who will gobble up any anime that comes down the stream, but because there's so much anime coming out that they'll stick with it for maybe 7 episodes and then give up and move on to the next one. And I think that is kind of a problem with a lot of anime fandom in general. So, and not only that, but it's anime is getting ridiculous. I don't know if it's popularity or they're just cranking them out all over the place. So, but what's your feelings about that, if you don't mind me asking?
I'd honestly have to say your mileage may vary.
Okay.
Some people will kind of give a episode or two a chance of a recent one that comes out. Some will like it, some won't.
Mm-hmm.
Like with anything, it's just your mileage may vary kind of deal.
Okay, so, and what kind of animes do you kind of lean towards, other than the obvious fantasy stuff?
Well, obviously, you know I love my mecha, because I'm into the Gundam series, Gunbuster.
Oh, nice.
I'm into the usual array of shonen anime, like One Piece, Dragon Ball. Let's see. Torako's a guilty pleasure.
Isn't that a food-based battle anime?
Yeah, it involves the titular character hunting down these monsters to make into ingredients. I like to call it one of two animes that are Iron Chef on steroids. The other one being Iron Chef on steroids is Shokugeki no Soma,
Okay.
also known as Food Wars.
Oh yes, okay, the one with all the terrifying foodgasm clips I keep seeing everywhere. So
Yeah, that get memed to hell and back, but at least it's equal opportunity and not just ladies with gigantic booba getting hit. There's a couple of male teachers that experience similar clothes explosions.
right. So now it's not always. I only saw like the first two episodes of that series. Again, the acquaintances in question played it like in the middle of the daytime when kids were around. It's like, no, guys, come on. I don't care if it's popular. There's kids here, but it's. Is it always like a full on foodgasm, or is it just like every once in a while a character will have like a food epiphany, and I know it's still played for laughs and all that, but it doesn't go like to the same outrageous levels like the realtor lady in the first episode.
It's it's more during the cooking competitions to kind of convey if someone did a really, really good job. Sometimes you'll get the fan servicey moment, sometimes you won't, but if you know one of the characters is going to nail it in terms of the competitions,
Mm-hmm.
that's when the foodgasms happen.
Oh my god, this is so good. So, oh my goodness.
Yes, being in a nirvana of honey with one of the main characters resembling bees in a comedic manner.
Ah, okay. And that's still going on, isn't it? Or did it recently end?
I think it's going into its final season in the manga. Uh, don't quote me on that one. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
I know it's at least on the fifth season.
Okay. Okay, yeah. It's like that's another thing though. It's like my brother Miguel, he's more into like the old school anime. You know, he's like a huge Astro Boy Gigantor fan.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah. And of course he's also very kind of crotchety about it. That's one of the reasons I brought this up with you because he thinks anime lacks a lot of legacy characters. It's like yeah, there's classic icons, but unlike say American fiction or comic book characters, they're not as touched upon as you think they would be. It's like it's in a sense it's kind of a miracle we even got like a Sailor Moon reboot or retelling, I should say. So, but it's like how do you
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? It's like granted some characters that were considered brand new less than a decade ago have now kind of become anime major staples. A perfect example is One Piece. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but as far as like the anime fandom goes, it really does seem to be like a lack of legacy or respect for legacy, unless of course that legacy ties into like a new series. Like I think a lot of people have no idea that Devilman was a manga from the '70s before it became Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah. Like I said, it normally depends on the situation and how reboots and franchises get handled. Like some will do it well, like
Mm-hmm.
Devilman Crybaby, because that was actually not too bad.
Okay.
You'll get different variations of Ghost in the Shell, which was a very started out as a very very iconic movie, and then started getting its own anime series through Standalone Complex, Second Gig,
Mm-hmm.
and three other mini series that I can't think of off the top of my head. I think Arise.
Yeah, isn't Arise the? I know Second Gig. I actually watched Second Gig quite a bit, but Arise wasn't that the recent one they did with was CG on Netflix, or was that something else? Ghost in the Shell 3D.
I know the opening for Standalone Complex and Second Gig definitely had some CG, but was definitely pure 2D after that because that was animated by Production IG, if memory serves.
Okay, I think you're right. It's like whenever I think of Ghost in the Shell, it's like Production IG always comes up. So
Hey, they are a good studio. They gave us Witch Hunter Robin, Ergo Proxy, and Le Chevalier d'Eon.
I've never. Okay, I'm familiar with the first two. What's that last one?
Le Chevalier d'Eon takes place in the French Revolution. Think of it as kind of the typical kind of quest for revenge during the whole French Revolution. Think a bit of a mix of Rose of Versailles.
All right. Okay. Isn't there like it takes place just before the French Revolution, and there's like magic stuff going on?
Yeah, and involves a series of murders, and one of them being the protagonist's sister, who somehow manages to occasionally possess her brother during very intense moments. And oof, do not mess with that woman in a dark alley. She will cut you up with a sword.
Okay, I remember they had a couple episodes that on the Anime Network, which is only available as an on-demand service on my local cable station. But yeah, no, I remember that. Although I felt so sorry for all the peasants who kept getting killed and turned into zombie henchmen.
Yeah, same. And the fact that the corpses were filled with lead, just, oof, that's morbid.
Yeah, so it's... Oh god, I love to ask spoilers about how that ended, but I'm not going to keep you here all night, so...
That and I still need to finish the last 5 episodes.
Okay, that's... You're so close. Okay, so... But no, it's like... Oh, well, what was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, I'm gonna still finish that Miss Blue video. I think that's gonna be a munch because you did do the voice of Miss Blue. I wanted to ask you though, did we make her a little too unsavory of a character? Because I know she's supposed to be a quasi villain or something. Or do you think it's kind of fun to do a character like that and get away from the sweet Boo nonsense?
It's kind of nice to step it up every now and then. Don't get me wrong, I will always love and will always be happy to reprise Boo whenever I get the chance, but being able to step it up and try to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, it's actually quite fun.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that because, yeah, I gotta, like, unfortunately, it's like, I'm always amazed at how Andres and Brayton can do impressions right on the spot. Meanwhile, it's like I'm like Liam Neeson in Darkman. I gotta spend like 2 days working on an impression just to get it somewhat decent. Oh my goodness. But what was I gonna say? Okay, yeah, because I really, yeah, darn it. Okay, now I'm starting to get flustered. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, let me save this thing here. Okay, sky background before I start erasing it and putting the crab monster in there. Okay. Now, I wanted to... did you see any new... Outside of anime, have you seen any new television shows of any note?
I don't really watch much television, but I heard they brought back Law and Order.
I'm surprised it never left. that it left in the first place, I should say.
It got canceled after its 20th season a decade ago, and I guess they just brought it back recently. I mostly know this because I'm subscribed to a channel called Legal Eagle, who was judging one of the Law and Order episodes by its law accuracies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that is a very good channel. I'm not subscribed, but every once in a while I'll stumble upon it and see what the guy has to say about stuff. So... And it is educational as far as being entertaining. Oh my goodness. So, but yeah, no, I'm surprised they brought back. Wow, it's like you think Law and Order has always been like a staple of television, but to find out that it's been gone for 10 years. But then again, there's like so many SI and SYYs something shows that take its place. That yeah, I think the niche was taken, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so are you holding up okay? If you want to call it quits, that's more than all right.
Oh, pardon. I'm holding up okay.
Okay. So now, oh darn it, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if things work out late in June, I do want to do a couple of live watches again. Although I know we talked about maybe doing fantasy films, but if we did any of the Mothra films, I know you showed interest of doing the 1992 Mothra film.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
That would be a lot of fun, and also we can bring in plenty of people. I just gotta figure out what the title card's gonna be, and I just don't want to do a simple. There's a photograph of Mothra attacking us. Okay, but yeah, no, it'd be fun to get back to it. I just gotta double check with Andres to see if his life is kind of because he returned from Japan recently.
Hold on.
Oh, go on. Is that a cat? Okay, while Win goes away, I'm going to check the comments very quickly. Let's see what we got here. I feel a lot of... Oh, wait a minute. There's been quite a bit of comments. Okay. Today, Doomzilla says, I'm very picky with today's anime. I prefer to watch that interests me the most, both classic and new. Doomzilla says, do I hear Gunbuster? Okay, we'll ask Win if she comes back on that one. And then Warrican says, I love the Gundam series. Common Rider says, I feel a lot of people forgot that Shin Ultraman is out in Japan right now. Shin Ultraman is doing very well in Japan. It doesn't need American support to get to where it's currently at. It's actually outperforming Shin Godzilla so far, and that's saying a lot. Okay, Shin Godzilla had to take some time to get its box office momentum in Japan. For the fact that Shin Ultraman was able to do it all in 3 days is saying a lot. So, Workin says, I feel like the anime manga respects its legacy characters better than we currently do in our own characters here in the United States. And Doomzo says, I don't mind Mothra. Workin says, I didn't approve of Mothra. She's a bad influence on the twin girls everywhere. She's a menace, just like Spider-Man. So, oh, yeah, that's right. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I saw the Chip and Dale movie, but I'll talk more about that a little later. So, YouTube not receiving enough to maintain a smooth stream. Okay, sorry about that. And we have four viewers right now. Common Writer says, I just know I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of American kaiju fans. Like, they'll report the news, but they'll never follow it up. Especially when it's something that isn't exactly 100% Godzilla related, and despite the fact that Shin Ultraman is more or less a true follow-up to Shin Godzilla. Not a direct sequel per se, but there's a lot of Shin Godzilla elements that are touched upon. And it is a part of Hideaki Anno's, hey everybody, I'm happy and nostalgic goodwill tour that he's been doing these last couple of years. I do have to admit though, yeah, it's like Shin Ultraman came out, there was a couple of review videos, both spoiler heavy and spoiler light, and then after that the mainstream Godzilla fans just kind of ignored it. But I'm not surprised. It's like, what is it? A lot of Godzilla fans will make a big deal about a new kaiju film in Japan, and then you don't hear about it until like maybe years later when it finally gets released here in America on video, and often the reviews are less than stellar. It's something like that happened with Death Kappa. You know, everyone was like, oh right, a new kaiju franchise with an interesting new kaiju character. Then no one talked about it after it premiered. And then when the film finally came to America, it was very, very decisive whether or not people even liked that movie or not. I personally don't mind Death Kappa. But yeah, I can see why a lot of kaiju fans would be disappointed with that one. And especially since there was a lot of false advertising, so to speak. Like, you know, they made this thing look like the next coming of Turtle, Monkey, Monster, Jesus. And instead it was kind of another dumb comedy from Sushi Typhoon. So, but yeah, getting back to artwork, what else do we got here? Oh, okay, nothing much else. But yeah, I did see the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger movie, and I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but it's definitely worth watching, and this is coming from somebody who is not at all nostalgic of the Disney afternoon. Although I do remember me and my brothers used to kind of catch episodes of DuckTales and Darkwing Duck quite a bit. But for the most part, yeah, I'm not exactly a Disney afternoon kid. And I remember we would sometimes watch Rescue Rangers, but we never really sat down and watched or remembered Rescue Rangers outside maybe a handful of episodes here and there. So, but yeah, I saw the movie. It was surprisingly a lot of fun, very funny. Not exactly the long delayed sequel to Roger Rabbit that I think everybody wants, but it's very much in that same vein. It's more of I would describe it as like the 21 Jump Street comedies meets Roger Rabbit is probably the best way to describe it. And it is surprising the number of characters that they officially got to do cameos with, along with a bunch of really good parody characters and even just like nods and references throughout the whole movie. So, and that's okay, Doomzilla. The Disney Afternoon, it may have been, it was its own niche thing. I know it was a big thing on like syndicated television. Oh, what's this by my foot? Oh, it's a little sleepy cat. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. My cat Fluffy is sleeping by my feet right now, so it's like I almost stepped on her. That would not have been good. So, all right, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I don't want to say too. There's a lot of things I'd love to say. Maybe I'll do like for the last conversation of the night. I'll do a spoiler heavy review of my take on the movie, or wait a week at least. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. If you have Disney Plus or somebody with Disney Plus, go ahead and check it out. It's more funny than it is actually spectacular. Go in with like semi-low expectations because there's some elements of the movie that don't work at all. But for what it is, it came out a lot better than I was expecting. At the very least, I know the major highlight has to be J.K. Simmons' character. I'm not going to say too much about him, but if you told me you could do an effective horror movie with Gumby, I would say nonsense. But after this film, yeah, okay, Gumby can be a terrifying creature if need be. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick sip. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, let me do some quick email checkups before I continue talking. Okay, so far nobody. Okay, we're good. All right, so okay, going back. All right, let's see what else we got here. Doomzilla says one outlet considered it to be a successor to Roger Rabbit, but I highly doubt that statement. It's similar to Roger Rabbit. It's nowhere near as good as Roger Rabbit. If you want to, yeah, and thankfully right now Roger Rabbit is currently free on Tubi television and it still holds up. It's still a really good movie. But like I said, it feels like the 21 Jump Street comedies, the two ones they made with Jonah Hill and big Buffy guy everyone likes, Channing Tatum, I think that's his name. It feels very much like those movies, just it happens to take place in a Roger Rabbit style universe. But yeah, it's nowhere near as good, and I think people are only making that comparison because that's the only close point of reference they can get. So, actually now thinking about it, if it is similar to anything, it's like those episodes of Tiny Toon Adventures where they actually have to interact with the studio or something, or do a Hollywood thing. So, alright, and Common Writer says, I didn't even know Chip and Dale was a thing until I saw an ad for it today. Yeah, Disney has been kind of keeping, unlike DuckTales or Darkwing Duck, where they do kind of go out of their way to really show these characters off in some way, the Chip and Dale thing has been kind of kept in mothballs for years. In fact, they wanted to do a proper crossover with Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Oh, hey there. So I was just telling everybody I saw the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger movie last night.
Yeah, one of my friends was watching it earlier, and to my understanding, it's actually not that bad and has moments where they kind of show they're not afraid to make fun of themselves, like with the ugly Sonic cameo.
Oh, yeah, that's okay, there's a big spoiler right there. I might as well, yeah, ugly Sonic, he's officially in the movie, because there are some other Sony Capcom characters in there, but the fact that they got away with quote-unquote terrifying ugly Sonic to be actually a recurring character throughout the movie, I was surprised they went that far in that direction. and when, for somebody who's gone to Anime Expo, it's like I recommend the movie immensely, but it's hilarious what they did with ugly Sonic and his role in the movie. So it's like when you go to a convention, there's like all those like lesser known celebrities. that are there signing. Like, yeah, Ugly Sonic is one of them. So complete with his own little booth. So. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So, but yeah, it's like, well, now, oh crap, it is. It's almost 1 a.m. on your end, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, it's cool if you. Oh darn it! Hold on. Might as well hold on. Sorry about that. I'm terrible at multitasking, doing artwork at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, if you do hear a small background noise, one of the cats is chomping on some kibbles.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it one of your sister's cats or a different cat altogether?
It's it's the oldest. It's Tiggy.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was telling the audience, my cat Fluffy, she just, after 2 weeks of spending time outside, she decided to come inside.
Oh.
Yeah, you know how cats are. They like to change their sleeping position once every 2 weeks. So, but yeah, she's currently asleep at my feet right now. So I'm wondering, what are these little claws that sometimes touch my feet? Oh, it's her. So, okay, but yeah, aren't cats wonderful? So for the most part. Sorry about that. So.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're wonderful little. They're wonderful little buggers. Even if they like to cause mischief occasionally.
Right. So, but yeah, no, I'll talk to the other guys about maybe doing a Mothra versus Godzilla, 1992. It's such a shame those movies have such similar titles that I got to use numeral, blah blah blah, numeric levels of description just to separate one movie from another. So, it's like the Batman. You could have just called it Creepy Riddler movie with Batman. Oh my goodness! I saw that one recently. Have you saw the Batman, so to speak?
No, I haven't, but I heard okay things about it.
Yeah, it's not half bad. The only major problem with it is its length, but for the most part, it's pretty good actually. Although I think I prefer the Christopher Nolan ones a little more. So, but yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah. So because it's like the Christopher Nolan ones were shorter, so. But more to the point, I think they kind of handled a better mix between adventure and drama than this movie, which definitely leans in more into like dark drama. Though I do appreciate some of the things they get away with. So, all right, but yeah, no, and if you want to call it quits early, go ahead. So because yeah, it's, as you can see, I don't multitask that well, but no, it was great for you to come aboard.
No problem. It was fun joining here, even if just for a short bit.
Yes.
Only because it's almost 1 in the morning. I could go on for days, but at the same time, I don't want to lose too much track of time.
Yeah, no, it's more than okay. So, but yeah, it's like I'm used to staying up this late, but yeah, I keep forgetting a lot of my friends are in different time zones, and I got to be more courteous about that in the future. So. But with that said, you just showing up, it definitely gives a little extra flavor to this program, and you've always been a really fun presence on this program and others for that matter. So, oh yeah, and I still want to do like a bunch of little short films after when Brayton thankfully comes back from his college related work. I would like to do a series of like short films with Boo, but with the recently completed Boo puppet, the one we kind of showed off in the recent past. Because I'm thinking of doing something like Boo in space, and it's just like her just rambling by herself in a little space station, and it'd just be like these quick 1-minute comedy videos.
That is very valid.
Yeah.
So with that, you have a very good night, Raph.
I will win. Thank you very much for showing up, and I will talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Bye-bye, folks.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. So there was Win. Thank you so much for showing up, Win. So it's always nice to have guests, even if they're just here for a little while. But yeah, I keep forgetting, me being in the Californian coast, things are a lot earlier for me than it is for other people. So, but yeah, let's see what the comment section has. All right, common writers. Oh, what's this? Yes, I will save my work in a little while. Okay, saving. All right. That's another, like, Photopea does this good thing where They tell you to save your works every once in a while, but at the same time, be careful with it because sometimes it screws up the saving process, and you have to save it as it is. I'm gonna have to save it different. So, but yeah, let's see what we got here. I know I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. I'm not familiar. Oh wait, okay, we already talked that stuff. Common Writer says I didn't even know that Chip and Dale was a thing until I saw the. Oh wait, I read that. Okay, here we go. Common Writer says, I was on Wikipedia today, reading up on Guillermo del Toro, and the amount of movies the man never got to make is depressing considering how good they probably would have been. Yeah, but I think that might also be a case of him, like, granted, there's a lot of movies I wish he got a chance to make. His Mountains of Madness movie would have been fantastic if it was given a chance. And I still think you can give it a proper chance, because even with Prometheus covering a lot of similar ground, the Mountains of Madness definitely would go in a much more different direction under his. I don't know if you'd be able to make it scary, but it would definitely be grotesque and more true to the grandiose nature of Lovecraft's work that unfortunately a lot of these both good and bad lesser budgeted horror movies have been unable to get right. Like, there's a lot of good movies based on H.P. Lovecraft, but they're definitely done on the cheap, and they sometimes have to get rid of some of the more grandiose elements just to save money. For example, there was a movie called The Shunned House, which was more or less kind of faithful to the mood of the original story. And it's a good movie with Oliver Reed and all that, but they changed the ending of the original story and got rid of the quote-unquote fantasy elements in order to kind of save some money on the creature effects. So, yeah, it's like, what is it? Like, you adapt Dracula, but Dracula's too expensive, so you replace Dracula with a crazy old man. So that's basically what happened with the Shunned House movie, so. But, yeah, it's a shame there. So, So, and also, it's like, it is unfortunate that I don't have anybody to come on board tonight other than Win, but I did this at the last minute. This is me just doing artwork. I might do some scanning in a little bit, so I don't know how that's going to show up on the screen. Okay. Del Toro was considering on adapting the manga Monster, but that never came to be, says Doomzilla. Yeah, Monster is a really good manga, and despite its title, it refers to like a very powerful and terrifyingly skilled evil genius of whom a doctor and a detective are both tracking down, even knowing the detective is at first thinking that the doctor is the villain in question. But the anime series is really, really good. Unfortunately, the anime series is also very, very long. So you need to do some kind of like, I think it's over 50 episodes of just this kind of cat and mouse thriller. But for what it is, it's actually really good. And it's from the same manga author who did 20th Century Boys. So he threw in a lot of like really cool historical facts and details that makes the story much more fleshed out than, say, other manga or anime tales that take place in European or foreign locations. So, and it's also kind of fun to guess which character design is based on which actor. So it's like that's where all the diabetes Walter Brimley. I'm probably getting his name wrong. It's times like this I wish Andres was around, but no, for the most part it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. And then the differences is the Mountains of Madness probably would have been a good movie, unlike that, in my opinion, pointless prequel. So, was there a prequel to Mountains of Madness? Did somebody decide to make a movie version of it? I don't know. So, they probably did, because for all the good Lovecraft movies out there, there's also a lot of, like, really crappy shot on direct-to-DVD Lovecraft films that really have no right existing, because they really are a waste of space. Like, I love Jeffrey Combs, but his version of the Dunwich Horror is such a waste of effort and time, so. Okay, Sarline crustacea. That's the name of the lobster monster I'm currently working on. So this is the tedious part where I'm just, getting rid of this background sky. So. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I might be able to trick this a little bit. I mean that pointless Alien prequel. Oh, Prometheus. Okay, I see what you mean. The anime is amazing. Also, it's 70... Holy crap, yeah, the anime to Monsters is really good, but it's 75 episodes long. Like, more power to it. A lot of anime shows these days can barely get 13, 12 episodes out of the door anymore. But 79 episodes? Holy crap. It's like, I was fortunate to see that series through the Sci-Fi Channel when they used to have Anime Night on Monday. But yeah, with 75 episodes, you can syndicate that crap. And what's even sadder is it's currently out of print. So if you wanted to see the anime, it's kind of really hard to track down right now. But that's a shame, though, because I wouldn't mind binging all 75 episodes within a week. So it's like, that's like, what is it? 10 episodes a day? It's like, I can do that. So, but also, let's be grateful that they decided to adapt Monster after the manga series was more or less finished. Because I can't stand it when they make a high profile anime based on a manga that isn't even past its initial opening chapters. So I think that's one of the I know the Guyver was pretty infamous. It's like, what is it? That one still hasn't been completed. But holy crap! So holy crap! Holy crap! So okay, quick drink. Yeah, no, I haven't talked to my friends in a long while, so... But yeah, it's like they're off doing different things right now. And like I said, I gotta use May to finish off some artwork, so... Sarlene Crustacea here. It's like, I gotta get something done for the unofficial art holiday of Mermaid. So... It's like I actually do have some mermaid artwork, but at this point, it's like I got slightly more important things to worry about, so... This is so close to completion right now, so... Maybe I should clear this out before... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's not a good idea. Okay, I had it on the wrong layer. Clear. Okay, and keep working on it. Okay, let's see. Doomzilla says Monster is a beefy series to watch. Unfortunately, I agree on how it's out of print. Seriously, Viz Media. Oh yeah, I forgot it was from Viz Media, so... Good luck on trying to see that re-aired anywhere. It might get aired. Give it to like a good streaming service. It's like, what is it? I'm surprised at the number of out-of-print anime that you can... And other movies you can find easily on Tubi. So it's like, what is it? Hats Off Entertainment, which is a really good channel looking at lesser-known comedy and classic comedy. They recently did a video on the John Candy comedy, Delirious, where basically John Candy is a writer of a terrible soap opera who suddenly finds himself trapped in the world of the soap opera. And it looks really good, and I do like John Candy. But yeah, the guy in the video, he made a big deal about how Delirious is out of print, and it's like $30 to $70 to get a Blu-ray of the film. But it's like, I looked at Tubi, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't my watch list. It's like, dude, it's free on Tubi. And then my comment got deleted less than a few minutes later. So it's like, I'll check out Delirious and let you guys know how it went. So, but yeah, hold on. Let's see, we got another comment. I'm going to let the comments fill up a bit. And then that's why we have the Crickets, ladies and gentlemen. The Crickets. We'll call the band the Crickets. So. There's a lot of good movies to watch, so, or to entertain and watch. It's like I thought about with my Twitch channel, like I'm doing a Doctor Who triple feature, but I've done Doctor Who live watches before, and they've gone fairly okay, and I do want to do a live watch with Laura and Nick based on the 5 Doctors, but we're going to see how that goes. So I may end up doing something where I'll do it on Twitch, and then I will do a edited YouTube version of it. So... But yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about doing live watches. It's like you can't do them on YouTube, and even with like lowered audio. I was able to get away with that a little bit with the Power Ranger and Mighty Joe Young and King Kong live watches. But but so far we've had trouble with the Hobbit live watch. I was thankfully able to separate the pre-show and post-show sections of it. But as far as the main commentary itself, I'm going to have to do it as a separate video and heavily lower the volume or delete all the existing dialogue. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do a live commentary without some sort of audio visual cue to go along with it. So although with that says, I think like I did with the Turkish Star Wars and Time Mule commentary, I think I may end up doing more like just videos where it is just the live commentary and present it on Twitch for a temporary time. And then if you want copies of it, just contact me, because you can contact me through my YouTube here. Oh, right. Hold on. Almost done here. Kind of done. Almost done. Dum dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 bum bam bum 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 dum dum bum 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 dum bum 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 dum. And of course, there's some nonsense going outside. So this is me going insane trying to do artwork and talk to people. All right, let's see what we got in the comment section. Oh, thank you. You guys are, between you three guys are definitely making some major comments here. Okay. Warrior King says, I loved that anime back in the days. I missed Anime Mondays on Sci-Fi Channel, but when it knew how to spell its own name. Yeah, it's like I watch Resident Alien every once in a while, but for the most part the Sci-Fi Channel is it's no good. It's like, in their attempt to appeal to the mainstream, I think it kind of backfired big time on them. Well, okay, there's an interesting point I do want to bring up, and it has been, I almost ended up calling this stream The Curse of Khonshu, or Why Moon Knight, the Terrifying Truth of Nerds and Moon Knight. And that is a point I'm going to bring up pretty soon. But yeah, let me keep doing some artwork here. So, but yeah, there was a time when the Sci-Fi Channel was a lot cooler than it is, and now it's so desperate to appeal to mainstream audiences that it's a shadow of its former self, and it just, there's no legacy entertainment. It's always like current movies or movies you can easily get on a syndicated package. It's like, I love Jurassic Park, but how many times can you show Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World on your channel when there's probably like an even wider variety of Sci-Fi Channel science fiction, fantasy, and horror movies you can show? It's like even Shudder is slowly getting to that point, so, oh my goodness. And Epix, oh my god, that started out as such a good network with such a wide variety of films, and now it's like, unless you subscribe to their ridiculously expensive cable channel, $30 a month? No, thank you. You really can't see a wide variety of the films they used to show. So, but yeah, getting back to the Twitch thing. Oh yeah, Common Writer. I love Moon Knight too. I'm going to talk about Moon Knight in a little bit. But yeah, on the Twitch channel, I really want to do a wide variety of movie airings. But I know that, and no offense to you guys, many of you are more kaiju fans than you are fans of other entertainment, but it's like I can do a night where I watch a Godzilla movie or a related Ultraman thing, and that usually works out well. But if I try to do something outside of the box, it's like Doctor Who is one thing, but it's like, hey, who wants to watch lesser known Japanese comedy films with Enshohma? It's like, yeah, that's not going to work out so well. So, where are you, cat? Okay, cat left. My feet's cold again. Okay, hold on. I should clear this out before it's too clear. Okay. Alright. Let's see what we got here. I would like to see animes in the style of the Animatrix with other science fiction franchises like the Terminator and Alien. Yeah. Okay. Well, at this point, I think both Terminator and Aliens need to be taking like very long breaks, because after the damage that was done with them recently, it's like, I know we're like Hollywood in its desperate attempt to franchise everything kind of ruined perfectly good movies that really didn't deserve sequels or need sequels to begin with. It's like, yeah, I'm one of the few people who actually don't mind Alien Resurrection, but when you get to Alien Covenant, it's like, yeah, just let the franchise die. And of course, Terminator, like, I'm of the opinion that Terminator really should have ended at Terminator 2. But try telling it to, like, there's a lot of, like, forgiving Terminator fans, so I think they're the main reason those films keep getting sequels. So that, in, I don't know, the Chinese market probably, foreign market too. What's not particularly popular here in America can probably make major business elsewhere around the world. And we also have to forget the rental market or the home entertainment market, where a lot of movies will make back their profit one way or another. So it's like, ever wonder why a lot of like low performing movies in the 90s suddenly got sequels less than 2 years later? That's because they did really good on the home video market. Most successfully was the Austin Powers movies. The first Austin Powers did okay business in theaters, but it did really, really well on the home entertainment VHS market, that they ended up making 2 sequels out of it. Let's see, what else do we got here? We almost had their Star Wars Visions, but I thought all the promises explored in that show were kind of boring. I watched like the first 3 episodes of Star Wars Visions, and I was not overly impressed with it. I thought the one about the rock band was really cute, but the big problem was the stories were way too ridiculously short. Although, again, I haven't watched all of them. And it feels, I can see, like, it felt way too anime for American audiences, so I really don't think it worked out in that regard either. I remember a lot of the reviews for it were pretty venomous to confused is probably the best way to describe them. But yeah, maybe I should check out Star Wars Visions just to finish the lot, but I think I only watched 3 episodes, and that was the end of that. So okay, hold on, how are we doing here? Okay, okay, she's practically, Sarlene here is almost good. So Sarlene Crustacea, formerly Queen Cancer. Okay, so let's okay, clean out the rest that's here. Clear. Excellent. Okay, let's see what else we got in the comments. Common Writer says, I loved Moon Knight. Yeah, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Moon Knight in a little bit. And all those Harry Potter marathons, too. Yes, Warrior King. Like, you know, I will calm down about Harry Potter. I know I vote like that in the X-Men movies. I vote, you know, I'm less forgiving of those than the mainstream audiences are. But yeah, it's like, how many times can you do a Harry Potter marathon? It's like, it's the Arbor Day Harry Potter marathon. Bazing! And then what else do we got? Common Writer says, I personally think that it's that they could be a cool place to go with these franchises. Need a creative boost of an anthology and a bunch of different directors to take them on. That's a good point. Although it would also help if the movie or subject in question has a lot to offer, where you can do multiple stories and multiple different points of views. I think that's why the Animatrix worked so well as Star Wars Visions, at least in a functional nuts and bolts sense. But it's like, if you have something that's very like limited in its scope, it's like, what's the point of doing an anthology series if you can't really tell much in the way of stories? And that's why I don't see too much happening with the Terminator and Aliens. So they tried doing creative stuff with those franchises, and they immediately rewrote everything. So track back, not track back, double backed or something. Course corrected a lot of the what is it? There was a lot of elements people didn't like about Prometheus. So what did? They took those same elements and pretty much killed them on screen and off screen in Alien Covenant. And that sort of creative course direction you see in films I find incredibly annoying. Granted, sometimes it's needed, like the Timeless Child revelation in Doctor Who has really been a gigantic forming tumorous wart on that franchise, and I still like Doctor Who, and still willing to give it a chance. But holy crap, talk about, you know, everyone says bringing back David Tennant for a special or two is jumping the shark. No, they jumped the shark, and then they decided to let the shark rot in the living room. That's how bad the Timeless Child was. So, hold on, I'm going to take a quick drink. Alright, what else do we got here? Okay, Warrior King says, yeah, it's becoming more and more obvious that nothing is sacred in Hollywood these days. How long until they try something really stupid like remaking Jaws, Shutters? They think about it. It's like, I know they've been thinking about trying to remake E.T., and there's Hollywood studios that are waiting for Robert Zemeckis to die so they can do a reboot of Back to the Future. So, Common Writer says, I think it's incredibly boring aside from the Rock Band episode. There's nothing but just Jedi and Sith plots over and over, nothing new, and I was hoping for some really crazy stuff coming from Japan. Yeah, that's another thing about Star Wars. It's a huge universe, but for the most part, it's always Jedi's, lightsabers, and all this. And I know that a lot of people think that's the main bulk of Star Wars, but I think Star Wars is capable, like in the better series, you can see a wider world of Star Wars. That's why I enjoyed The Mandalorian so much, and why I was way more forgiving of the Boba Fett series. Because, yeah, the Boba Fett series really shouldn't have existed in the first place. But for what it is, it's kind of it's a quaint little series about life on Tatooine. Had they called it Days on Tatooine, I think it would have worked a lot better. And also, I think there was a lot of expectations and disappointment from those expectations from all the Boba Fett fans. So it's like there's nothing wrong with the idea of a villain who's growing old in years and wants to kind of either retire or be a little better with his life. But yeah, when you don't kind of prepare the diehards for a character who, I don't know, that was a whole thing. So I'm not going to dwell on it. And then Common Writer says, I think there's enough potential for both Alien and Terminator that could work, but it's just that they don't explore them, and when they do, they screw up things, like in Terminator Salvation. Terminator Salvation was on the right track. It's like, I would like to see what this post-apocalyptic robot war would be like. But again, I think they, not only was the first movie in that supposed canceled trilogy undercooked for what it was, but it was also pretty obvious that the backlash against it was so much that they decided, oh no, we'll go back to just remaking Terminator 2 again. So, and then Common Writer says, I have a controversial opinion on Morbius. I think the movie is awful. Don't get me wrong, but I think that the director is at fault. And I think it's the writers. Now, that can be pretty much said about any movie. It's like the directors, the writers, but also I'm less forgiving of the movie studios themselves. If they make a bad decision, it really shows. So, okay, hold on. I'm going to have to focus on this for a little while. Copy. Paste. Okay. Just want to try something out here. Okay, adjustments. Because this is giant sea monsters close to the shore. So I want to see if I can try to do some kind of lighting for her. Like water reflecting it towards the bottom. So, but I don't want to go overboard with certain elements. Actually, how would she look like if she was just a big blue monster? Well, that's not bad. That's like a blue fairy type thing going on. Okay, less so there. I'll save this just as a fun little what if. Hold on. Darn it! Why? I can't do anything without the boobs getting in the way. Ah. Okay. Alright. Okay. Blue lighting. Maybe. Okay. Oh, only 45 minutes. 42 minutes. Okay. This feels like forever. I don't think I'll be here too late. Usually when it's just me by myself with you people, it's maybe 2 hours. But I want to see how long I can do here. Okay. I'd love to play some music in the background, but I don't know what YouTube would do if I did that. Actually, that would be a good experiment, wouldn't it? Yeah. If I start to lose some steam, maybe I will play some music and see how low the volume I can do without YouTube getting into a hizzy. With that said, let me bring out my MP3 flash drive. The flash drive where I keep most of my MP3s. Music files and the occasional podcast. Okay. I'll just put that in. Because I have an entire folder and several hours of just instrumental music. So let me see if I can actually get away with that. Working says she looks better in blue than red. If you ask me, yeah, maybe I'll keep. Yeah, maybe I'll keep a red variant. So, okay, yeah, I'm gonna try something a little later, but that'll be towards the end of the night. Common Writer says I actually agree. I like the blue. Maybe I will keep her as blue. Okay. Now it could be. Oh yeah, it could be a fun little variant, but as it stands. Yeah, I just want to try something out here. Okay, color burn, that doesn't work. Liner burn. Ugh. Darker. Okay, that's actually kind of fun, but she looks a little bit like the American Rabbit. There's a free movie you can find on YouTube that isn't worth it. God, it's like if I could go back in time and stop my little kid self from wasting time with that film, I would. Oh. Okay, darker color. Lighter. Oh, that's kind of a neat, like a ghostly version of her. Okay, screen. Okay, color dodge. Interesting. Color dodge. Liner dodge. Lighter color. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Overlay. Kind of a creepy, I don't know, Kitamura look there. Alright, soft light. Nothing there. Hard light. Oh, that actually looks really good. Okay. The dark blue and the pale brown hair. Okay, that is hard light. So I'm going to do vivid light. Okay, now she looks like a creepy Mega Man villain. Okay, that's vivid light. Liner light. Okay. Liner light. Pen light. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Ugh, hard mix. Okay, no, that's Nightmare Commercial. Sarlene. Difference. No. Exclusion. Subtract. There's your creepypasta version of Queen Cancer here. Crustacea. Divide. That's a little basic. Okay. U. Okay. Saturation. Color. Okay. Luminosity. Okay, which one was the one that... Okay, don't want to do vivid. Hard light. Soft light. I need one that's overlay. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the placement of the layers makes things different. Okay. Color dodge. Okay, I should have done this. Alright, there we go. That's what I want. Lighten. Okay, that's going to be a good effect. Alright, let's check what's going on in the comment section. She looks better than blue than red. I actually agree. I like the blue. Doomzilla says the clouds look too much like the opening of The Simpsons. Yeah, maybe I'll add something to make the clouds look a little interesting, but I do want to kind of keep it simplistic. Common Writer says, very excited for Cronenberg's new movie. Crimes of Future looks interesting. Yeah, Cronenberg does interesting stuff, so... Okay, well, I'm going to take a quick drink. Okay. Actually... Multiply... Let me save this layer in case of in the future, because that is interesting. Okay, hold on. Three. Okay. You can't see the save window there, and that's probably a good thing, so. Alright, but yeah, let me go back. Okay, what did I want? Alright, liner, do you want to do over lighter light? Okay, that's a little too much. Liner dodge. Oh darn it, where was the one I liked a lot? Screen. soft light. Yeah, don't want to do soft light. Hard light. Do I do hard light? Hold on. Vivid light. Was that the one I wanted? Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. I forgot it has to go over all these other ones. Okay. Soft light. Hard light. Okay. Yeah, what was the one I wanted? Vivid light. Liner light. Okay, liner light may have been the one I wanted. Overlay. No. Soft light. I already did that. Okay. Hard mix. Ugh. Hard mix almost never works. Difference. Exclusion. Exclusion. Exclusion, yeah, not excretion. Subtract. Ugh. Scary. Subtract. Divide. Okay. Oh, darn it. I had this perfect color that I really wanted to use. Okay. Saturation doesn't do anything. Color. Okay, that was the one I wanted. Color. Let's see what luminosity looks. The luminosity doesn't look good at all. Okay, let me just check the other ones to make sure. Lighten. Okay, lighten's the one I wanted. Okay, that's what I want. Alright. Okay, I'm just trying some effects here to try out. I'll be reading your comments in a minute. Okay, that doesn't really work. Okay. Alright, so let me see. I'm just trying something out here. Okay, I'm trying to do an effect here. It might be a little too ambitious to be doing this so early. I still got gradients to finish. Oh, hell. Okay. That doesn't really work too well, does it? Okay. Like I said, she's supposed to be over the ocean, so I wanted kind of a glowing, reflective thing underneath her. But I don't know how well that's working. Yeah, that's not too good. Alright, I might have to come back on this later, so... But, hold on. I can still save this layer, and on this particular mode, so... I just have to get rid of everything else. Or do I? Okay. Save that for later. I might want to use that. Hold on. As a PNG, PNGs are way easier to work with as layers when you want to save it as a Photoshop file. Okay, enough of this playing with her colors. I should go back to the main work. Okay, let's see what we got in the comments. Are you guys hearing me okay, or am I coming off a little muffled? Because I'm kind of talking away from the microphone. Like, I'm talking directly here, but when I'm looking at the comments, my face is now directly away from the microphone. Alright, I can see the bioluminescent colors for her. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's like, what's the name of that crab from Moana? That movie. You know, the one who says, I'm shiny, or like a diamond on a diamond, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. That Tatatoa? Yeah, that giant crab monster. He completely changes form when he's in darkness. Maybe I can do something like that with Crustacea here. Okay, interesting. Alright. It has a spectre-like quality to it. I hear you fine, says Common Writer. I hear you well, says Doomzilla. Thank you very much, guys. Okay. Let me see if I can rope other people in here, because me just talking by myself isn't really working out too well. Time to rope in suckers. Let's see what kind of people I can bring in. Nobody I know. They're all asleep. Matt Burkett. Yeah, oh god, it's really late on his end. There's no way in hell I can bring in Matt Burkett. This is what I get for doing a late night, just out of the blue stream like this. Okay, if I see any friends who want to come aboard, they can come aboard later, so. Okay. But for the most part, I got a warm cap on my foot, so. I can see the bluish with some bioluminescent outline. Yeah, okay then. Yeah, but for the most part, this thing isn't really working as well as I wanted it to, so I'm going to get rid of this. And then, yeah, oh, wait a minute. That's an interesting idea. Hold on. Some of this can serve... Yeah, I can do better effects work on this later, but let's see what I can do. But yeah, for the most part, I think I'm going to... Oh wait, yeah, the color. Yeah, there's a mode on this called color that I should also save. Here on the layers, you have these different modes you can pick, and the one towards the bottom underneath saturation is color. So, save that as something to be used later. Like I said, I'm saving all these different bluish things as layers. I'm going to try to do a glowing effect later for the character. Nothing major, just like underlighting, I think is the best way to describe it. So, that's interesting. Right, save that as a PNG for later use. Save. It's also a bit of a cheat. I should really just go there and see how I can affect it on my end, but you know, go in and actually color the underlighting in each and every shell, but that's a whole different thing in its own. Combine colors. Uh-oh, I made a mistake. Oh wait, there you are. Okay. Right, I made a little mistake. A little boo-boo. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. This might actually work out a lot better for what I have planned later. If the lines are that clear on her, then yeah, it will look a lot better when I add it with the main illustration later. Okay. Alright, enough of this nonsense. Oh, wait, that's not bad looking either. Okay. A little iffy, but okay. I think that's enough of the alternate blues. Okay. Alright. Don't want to bore the 7 viewers I got here. So let me take a quick drink and I'll talk about Moonlight and the terrible revelation I made. A little bit of a refill. Okay. This is like Tales from the Far Side, the radio theater. It's like there's little anthropomorphic jackals making liquor underneath the table. Okay. So, who was it here who said they loved Moon Knight? I think it was Common Rider, but let me just double check. Yeah, Common Rider. Okay. Common Rider, if you want to say why you like Moon Knight, go ahead and share it in the comments, but I ended up enjoying Moon Knight quite a bit. I was honestly shocked how much I enjoyed the series. because the Marvel television shows, the ones on Disney Plus, they've definitely been some of the better Marvel related entertainment I've seen in a long while, especially since I've become kind of indifferent and numb towards a lot of the movies. But with that said, while watching Moon Knight, there were several things I realized because, okay, first off, I am not familiar with the original Moon Knight character, other than the fact that he's like Batman but more supernatural, and that he has the multiple personalities, and there's an Egyptian motif, Egyptian mythology motif with his character. And the interesting is, I'm going to take my glasses off for a little bit just to kind of avoid strain on my eye here. Yeah, the interesting thing is that I've seen plenty of like fan videos talking about the Moon Knight comic book series, especially from Matt Draper. Matt Draper, by the way, he does like really good videos talking about comic books and horror movies, and he recently did a whole series of Godzilla, his thoughts on the Godzilla film eras, you know, Showa era, Heisei era, Reiwa. Reiwa is basically just his thoughts on Shin Godzilla. And the Millennium series, including the American film. But yeah, he does a lot of really good work. And I honestly, he did a video about Moon Knight talking about the comic run that was a big influence on the character today. But here's the thing. Other than that, I have no real experience with the Moon Knight character whatsoever. So I was not really invested into him as much as, say, other friends of mine like Mike Wellman, owner of the Atomic Basement comic shop here in Los Angeles. He is a massive Moon Knight fan. But I noticed that he was excited about the series, but as the series went along, he was very not vocal about it. And again, I think it's like a lot of mainstream Godzilla fans who they get excited about a new kaiju project, and then the new kaiju project doesn't exactly turn out the way they want it to be, and they just kind of ignore it for what it is. So, oh wait a minute, I just realized something I can do with the background cloud. Hold on. No, maybe. Okay, maybe have something of a distant sun out there. I'll get to the Godzilla thing in a little bit. But I'm so close to finishing her, you know, I might as well just do it, so. Okay. It's kind of the hint that there's a sun in the background. Okay, and I did something similar with a Mothra piece I did back when I used to be the main title card artist for Brendan Tenold, as opposed to the, you know, standby now. Understandable. I can deliver them as quickly as I wanted to, so. But thankfully I still have a good friendship with Brendan, so that worked out in the end. So, and I am still doing some artwork for him in the near future. I'm not going to say what, but you'll see. But yeah, so I was familiar with the Moon Knight character and his human host, the one with the multiple personalities. But I was not familiar with, you know, the overall legacy of the character, or how much he was meant to be as a fan. In the sense, like I'm a huge Hedorah fan, and thankfully they don't do much with the character of Hedorah. So, but it would be a situation where they decide to finally give Hedorah his own movie, but they would make so many different changes to the character that I personally would not be offended, though, because we've already had plenty of different versions of Hedorah, and we've had like at least one really good movie with the character. And I did like that they did kind of go out of their way and include Hedorah in other areas, although for the most part Hedorah is a great Hedorah is a great exception, because there's a lot of Godzilla monsters who've made a lot of really wonderful return appearances, and you can say that about a lot of Batman characters. There are some really obscure Batman villains who have had some very fun returning appearances here and there. And so often that when they do take it to a radical route, like they did with some of the Harley Quinn animated series characters, it's still okay, because, you know, wait a little while. If you didn't like the way the Penguin was handled in that show, wait a little while. Here comes Colin Farrell giving a very fun modern day Scorsese gangster version of the character. Hey, Vengeance! What are you thinking? So with Hedorah, I would be more happy if they did more with the character, and every time there's been opportunities, it always got wasted. Like, I know the animation staff, this is based on what Matt Paquette has revealed in his videos and, you know, interviews with the staff, they really wanted Hedorah to be part of the animated Godzilla Singular Point in some major form. But I guess the character was too complicated to give him any kind of major showcase. So instead, they just had him as the weird, semi-unconnected cameo with the giant spiders. So, but, oh yeah, that's right, I'm going to be doing gradients on this girl now. See, I still need to do her shoulder here, and there's other little bits here and there that I need to take care of before I can even consider that she's almost near completion. So that's what I'm going to do right now. It's like I know I have this Godzilla Ultima to do here right now. So, and he's almost near completion, but at the same time, she's almost a lot closer too. So, and I do want to kind of get something done before, at least have like 1 or 2 mermaid related pieces up before it's too late. So, okay, so with that said though, Moon Knight is a character who, outside maybe a couple of animated appearances from very overlooked Marvel shows, because say what you will, like DC I think does a lot better in its animation department than Marvel does with animation, but Marvel does a lot better in its live action department, despite the fact that we've had a couple of good Marvel animated shows here and there, but even those got screwed over in one way or another. Spectacular Spider-Man was doing so well until the Disney buyout of Marvel, and then that series got, thrown to the side and replaced with a much inferior animated series. Oh my goodness, I'm not even that big of a fan of Spider-Man to begin with, but it was kind of a shame how a good series got destroyed because of corporate politics, and that's sadly the way of Hollywood right now. You can't talk about something without some weird bureaucratic thing that needs to be mentioned on the sideline. So, it's like you got to talk about the business of this stuff, and you can't really talk about the story or the characters anymore. But yeah, the thing with Moon Knight, though, and a lot of characters who are only now seeing light outside of comic books, is that for a lot of them, there are no multiple versions of these different characters. And sadly, the mainstream does not know the comic book versions of these characters as well as you nerds, me included, do. Now, with DC, it's no problem because they've rebooted that bloody universe so often in their comic books that there are, like, at least 5 different versions of Polka Dot Man. So when you do get an interesting version of Polka Dot Man shows up in a movie, and I will say that I adored what they did with Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad film. It's okay because even knowing what happens to that character, again, like the Penguin, there's going to be a different version of Polka Dot Man coming down the pipeline, and hopefully one that continues the goodwill that the James Gunn Suicide Squad did with the character. On the other hand, you might have like lesser-known villains or characters who never had a good chance in the limelight. A good example would be, like, as much as I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, if you're a big fan of Cassandra, the scheming daughter of the Collector, you would really be upset with because in the original comic book, she's sort of like a cosmic Talia al Ghul. She works with the Collector, her father, but she also will fight against him for both the right reasons and the wrong reasons. And like the Collector, she's kind of a spooky, weird character in her own right. Unfortunately, in Guardians of the Galaxy, they kept the name and turned her into like a generic slave girl, played by an otherwise wonderful actress. I forgot her name, but I've seen her around, and she's really cool. And sadly, she just becomes kind of an expendable cipher. So if you're a fan of the character Cassandra, but you know that the Marvel Universe is so overwhelming that version of Cassandra is the one you're practically stuck with. Now, granted, we've seen alternate good guy versions of that pink-skinned slave girl version of Cassandra show up in the What If animated series. But as far as like maybe other animated versions of the character goes, it's going to be a shame because they'll probably just go back to that version, not the original, or at least a take on the original Cassandra. And to be fair, again, it wouldn't be such a problem if they, like DC Comics, they would, kind of just do their own thing with these different incarnations of these different characters and stories. But unfortunately with Marvel, the Marvel movies have proven to be so successful that they bring in both the good and bad ideas into the comic books proper. And of course, if there's some like corporate skullduggery going on behind the scenes, you end up with ridiculous ideas like, hey, I don't want to give Fox 11 any more money or free advertising, So I am going to create the I'm going to make the Inhumans more prominent characters. And yeah, the Inhumans were pretty cool characters in the original comics. These, bizarre alien royalty, or lunar royalty. They technically evolved on Earth. But yeah, it's a really neat and weird idea. But because of the bureaucratic nonsense with Puterman and what was going on with Marvel and Disney at the time, and Fox, and this was before Disney eventually bought out Fox, the Inhumans became unfortunate victims of that insanity, and what we ended up with was a pretty terrible television series. And now nobody wants, as well as some questionable dealings in the comic books, like, yeah, Inhumans versus X-Men, aka let's screw over Fox by totally killing off our X-Men characters. And the end result is it just sours the fictional entertainment side of everything. So with Moon Knight, this is they did take a lot of liberties with the Moon Knight character. They made him much more quirky and offbeat than the original comics, which kind of took it a little more serious. Granted, they still stayed true to some of the weirdness that the recent comic runs have. I know the original 70s comics played it way more straight, especially with the relationship with Khonshu and the multiple personalities. But yeah, if you were expecting like scary Batman style Moon Knight, you're not getting it with this series. You're getting something that's more early era Tim Burton meets Northern Exposure, I think, is probably the best way I can describe. Like, I know Northern Exposure has its own fans who would hate the idea of their beloved offbeat fantasy reality show being compared to a Marvel television series. But I think that's what I got out of the Moon Knight series. It was, it was quirky and offbeat, even with the horror elements and some of the scarier stuff coming into play. But in doing so, they gave it a much more interesting flair and flavor that the Marvel movies themselves may have had at a time, but they've long lost. Like, again, going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, because those characters were not as well known, they basically let James Gunn have full control over the toys in the box, and he was able to do mostly good things with it, minus kind of screwing over other villain characters just to turn them into, like, expendable henchmen here and there. So I know there was this... oh god, I'm kind of afraid what he's going to do to Adam Warlock, considering, the cast... Like, I like the actor they got to play Adam Warlock. He's proven himself to be really good in other things. But it's also clear, I think this is going to be, like, a more comical take on Adam Warlock, who isn't really going to be... who's going to have very little pomp and circumstance as far as a major character is concerned. So... And it's sad, too, because Adam Warlock is such a bizarre character, but I doubt, they're going to waste so much money on a Hollywood property to do an Adam Warlock story proper. It's one of the reasons why I've never really been amazed with the live action Doctor Strange films, because it just feels like watered down, neutered, hampered Doctor Strange instead of the more insane stuff we can be getting. So, and I think they also kind of screwed that up big time with the Eternals films as well. It's like, yeah, granted, the Eternal comics were pretty terrible in their own right. There was like Jack Kirby's discount version of his New God characters, at best. But it's like there was so much weirdness you could have mined for like an interesting story. Meanwhile, Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, I think that's the name of the movie. 7 Rings, I don't know why I want to keep calling it. Oh yeah, 10 Rings because rings on the fingers. I actually ended up liking that movie a lot because it felt like a kind of like a fun Hollywood take on the Chinese fantasy CGI monster movies that have been coming out recently. Unfortunately, I think it's also one of those reasons why the movie didn't do so well in China, or was even banned from being appeared in China. But as far as I was concerned, it was a lot of fun. It felt more true to like Asian-inspired fantasy films like Big Trouble in Little China and the Avatar: The Last Airbender series than the movie versions of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The movie version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And of course, if you throw in a giant kaiju fight at the end, if I already like something and you throw in a kaiju fight at the end, I like it even more. As far as I'm concerned, that's delicious sprinkles on the cake. Moon Knight was something similar. I was really invested in just how weird and offbeat it was. I think I went in there less because of my knowledge of Moon Knight and more because I really wanted to support a series that was finally starring Oscar Isaac. It's like I love that guy, and I really do hope this Moon Knight gives him more meaty roles. because it's like, from what little we see, Poe Dameron is a very fun character, but unfortunately, again, the background politics and bureaucracies of Hollywood destroyed any goodwill that Star Wars trilogy sequel trilogy may have given us. And of course, I'm not going to go into that because that's a whole different spiel in its own right. But yeah, I went in there for Oscar Isaac, and then I ended up enjoying like the weird mythology, and I love the fact that, I don't know why, but the Egyptian gods have always been a little more bizarre than other mythological gods. Other mythological gods, you can make the argument that they're really just like fables inspired by human fallacies, real life human fallacies, and you especially see that with the Norse gods, who are kind of just, they're not horrible people per se, because you can look at the Greek and Roman gods, and those guys commit some really terrifyingly horrible things onto regular people on a daily basis, and it's like it's like the equivalent of like Superman accidentally killing a bunch of people not thinking about it. That's basically Zeus with all his girlfriends. But with the Norse gods, like, their problem is that they're more stupidity bound, and they're also connected to destiny. But that's all very human related stuff. You look at the Egyptian gods, and they really do come off like bizarre aliens. And I don't want to say that, I don't want to use that word lightly, because instantly everyone assumes, hey, ancient aliens, of course the Egyptians were talking about aliens. Quite frankly, I think the Egyptians were way more, personally, they had no help from aliens. If they did, maybe with the interior lighting and some of those pyramids. But for the most part, I think the Egyptians were the ancient Egyptians were way more intelligent than we want to give them credit for. And yeah, their Greek legends are so bizarre. Like, yeah, there's some recognizable stuff in there that you would get out of Greek mythology, but as it is, you're really listening to a story about these celestial cosmic beings and aliens who might have recognizable human bodies and animal heads, but for the most part, they are a very weird lot, even by mythological senses. Actually, now thinking about, yeah, if aliens did visit ancient Egypt, I think they would be they would be something of an influence here and there, but I highly doubt that aliens made the pyramids. So I know there's, like, I'm not reading the comments right now, but I think if I did, it's going to be pretty scary. But yeah, the Egyptian mythology has always been very interesting, and thankfully it hasn't really been mimed too much in American culture. And unlike, say, the Greek gods, or even the current slate of video games based on Norse mythology, where that's become, like, again, Greek mythology, as interesting and as fun as it can be, it's way more appealing because it's way more simplistic and human, whereas Egyptian mythology, well, first off, a lot of stuff about ancient Egypt is lost to time. Lost to the sands of time, I should say. But also, I think it's just, just so bizarre in its own right. I think that's one of the reasons why Egyptian gods haven't become as popular as, say, Zeus or Athena have in other forms of culture. So, and that's probably a good thing, because outside a couple of really, like, I love mummies as a concept in both fiction and real life. It's like, in real life, it's such interesting, bizarre science, but in fiction, mummies are cooler than vampires and zombies as far as I'm concerned, especially when they're done as, like, necromancing sorcerers. So I think that's why the Brendan Fraser movies still have kind of a soft spot in my heart, as well as those. Plus, those were movies I enjoyed watching with my brother Miguel, and he loves those 3 movies like you would not believe. But with that said, yeah, I guess that because the Egyptian gods are just so bizarre, not just with their animal heads, because of their personalities and some of the weird adventures and rules behind them, is one of the reasons you never really seen them properly portrayed in cinema or television or live action or even animation for that matter. It's like, I know that they would be cameos from Egyptian gods here and there, like, that really great Samurai Jack episode where Ra, the sun god, shows up, and it's like trying to talk to a giant, like an alien that knows you're a giant alien that knows you're trying to say something, but it really can't reply. And Samurai Jack is just kind of disappointed by just the bizarre meeting with Ra there, but it's still a very funny gag and a neat way to end the episode. So it's weird. With the Egyptian gods portrayed in this series, they still went with an offbeat level with it. Like, Khonshu is not like a pure evil bastard, but he's still a manipulative old man. That hippo girl, I forgot how you say her name, but she's just adorable. And she's just, just the way the character was designed and animated and voiced and all that. Granted, though, that may be a little too much like the typical Marvel comedy ha-ha thing, but it felt earned with her character, especially since she was a weird little guardian angel who showed up when our heroes needed it the most. And of course, the lead villainess herself, Amat. It's like they more or less created new villains for this, or at least if the villains are based on comic books, they are greatly removed from the original versions. But I thought what they did with these original villains were very good, although I think that may have more to do with the look and the performances of the actors in those roles than it was with the actual characters themselves. Because it's like I actually liked Ethan Hawke a lot as this former hero, now this like apocalyptic cult leader who actually has the supernatural means to get what he wants. I actually liked him quite a bit, and of course it was great that they introduced him in such a really nasty way, where he nonchalantly cracks some glass and then walks in the shoes of it, which really shows a lot about the character. And it's like I really hate that narrative where the villain doesn't see themselves as the villain, because in real life, assholes know they're assholes, they're just too scared to admit it. And much different than in fiction, where it's like, oh yes, this he has a noble cause, and he thinks he's doing noble cause, even knowing that he really is on the wrong side of history, so to speak. No. It's just bullies just getting away with crap and getting terrified and scared when they're caught. It's like, it's not as special as movies make it out to be. That's one of the reasons I can't buy, like, granted, there are some good Gundam series out there, but I can't buy the idea that all these Gundam characters are, they're just following their own psychological, not physiological, philosophy views. I don't philosophize. I don't know what the exact word is. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. They're just following their their code of conduct or morals or morality. When in reality, it's like in real life, warmongers are just assholes who just do it from very petty reasons and don't care how many lives get lost. But here with Ethan Hawke's character, I forgot what his name was. I know you guys know, and Arthur Harrow, thank you. I actually had to read the comments. Arthur Harrow I thought was a really cool character, and I am a little sad that the Marvel movies and TV shows keep killing off all their villains. It's a miracle they let it. It's like, yeah, you don't need to let every villain live, but at least leave the door open a little bit for the character to come back in some form or another. And I know Marvel has the so-called multiverse excuse to bring back any character they want from the dead. But that's kind of a shame. It's like, a character can go to jail, or we don't need to see the corpse, or if the character is a non-human creature, at least hint that it might come back in some form of another. So it's like, that's the thing about this. Whenever an alien joins the Suicide Squad, play around with the fact that aliens aren't like regular earthly creatures that can regenerate. It's like, honestly, I would have loved to have seen, the corpses of fall off limb boy and Mongol's sister, slowly regenerating, and if DC's smart about it, they could probably do something like that. Especially with Mongol's sister, I thought her getting taken out by a helicopter it may have been a funny gag, but it's like she's the sister of Mongol. She's, it's dark side light, but she's still quite powerful. That's a dumb shame. But yeah, no, Arthur Harrow I thought was a very good character, and it is a kind of a shame that, spoilers by the way, we're going to get into major spoilers soon, that he ends up dead at the end of the series. But then again, that was such a good scene that it was such a great way to end the series on that kind of really dark note. It's like, I know horror movies have a tendency of ending on a twist ending, and often those twist endings are like poorly thought out. They're just there to do a final jump scare, so they would definitely destroy any kind of goodwill or story progression that was there in the first place. But the way that one ended, it was both triumphant and hilarious, but also very dark and sad at the same time. It just so many really good emotions from that final sequence. And if you're fans of the comic books, you kind of saw it coming a mile away. But for most normal people, that that was just like kind of a real emotional gut punch in multiple emotional ways. But yeah, no, I was really enjoying Moon Knight, and when you got to the final episode and you suddenly threw in these two giant fighting gods, because I already thought Khonshu was really cool, especially since they got H. Murray Abraham. Oh God, I forgot his name. The actor's name, Abraham, I think his name is. They got him to do the voice. It's like, oh, thank you. Get an older actor. Stop sticking with all these young people. Like, get an older actor to at least voice the character. It's like, I doubt we're ever going to get a proper Fing Fang Foom, but while James Hong is still alive, let him voice the character. He'd do a great job with the dragon. So, especially if it's a more offbeat take on Fing Fang Foom. Although at this point, I think it's a little too late. Thank goodness James Hong got his star on the Walk of Fame. So man deserved it. He's, it's like I met him briefly several times at conventions, and he's a sweet enough guy. So, but yeah, that's the thing though. I enjoyed Moon Knight very much. I plan on revisiting it in the near future. I'm glad it exists. But here's the thing I realized about watching that final episode. A lot of this stuff might be based on like popular nerd ephemera, whether it's, comic books or novels or video games. But ultimately, these are big budget risks, or projects, if you will, being made to get, well, I'm trying to think without babbling on, to get the best results in business. Again, someone said once that Hollywood is an uncomfortable mix of commerce and creativity, and often commerce will win out over creativity. So I know a lot of fans make jokes about they're always changing these things. There's always, why do they always have to ruin, these perfectly good stories? Look what they did to Taskmaster. But in the end, I think it's less about the writers and the directors than it is about the studio itself not wanting to take any unnecessary risks and appealing to the mainstream as much as possible. And even knowing Moon Knight did a lot of really cool things that I did not see in any other Marvel properties, at the end of the day, it's still a program made for mainstream audiences. So of course, I don't mind the way that series ended. I know a lot of people complain about Marvel films always got to end with a big fight scene and a big special effects sequence. And of course, giant monsters aren't exactly well liked by mainstream audiences for various reasons. It's like a fantasy show that introduces an alien. All of a sudden, the audience is checked out because somehow an alien is more bizarre than all the demons and angels we've been following so far. But yeah, I can understand that disappointment. But then again, what would you have wanted? Just the series to end with them getting on the boat and leaving the insane asylum? That would be a good stinger if I knew there was a second season coming. But as it stands, I don't think there's going to be a second season. Quite frankly, I don't want a second season because the way that series ended was so good. That last stinger, it's like you would just ruined it by following up with a second season. But at the same time, I'm not against it either. I like the characters of the show. I loved a lot of the actors. Although again, Ethan Hawke, I don't think is coming back anytime soon. Let alone the voice actress that got to play Amat, the giant alligator lady. But yeah, ultimately, this was Moon Knight for the mainstream public as best as they could without going too mainstream, because it could have been a lot worse. It's like, it's like, what is it? A good example is Thor. I love Thor. I love what the actor who plays the character in the recent Taika Waititi movies did with Thor. But the whole 9 realms and the unique alien fantasy worlds, Marvel was going to lean in hard with that, but then it turned out the first movie and the second movie didn't really appeal to mainstream audiences that much. So of course they did the corporate course direction, and what happened? They practically destroyed the 9 realms, more or less, in the third film. They spent more time with the Hulk on this other planet, which is, again, I like Thor Ragnarok a lot, but if you're a fan of the 9 realms and you want to see the larger Thor mythology come in, well, tough titty, to quote a giant plant monster, that's not going to happen. And for the most part, it looks like Marvel has completely abandoned that realm in its course correction. Maybe we'll see it in Love and Thunder, but for the most part, I think any attempt to see the 9 realms in its full-on majesty was completely discarded. And maybe there may have been a chance had Thor: The Dark World had it done better in theaters. Maybe we would have seen a more imaginative version of, the Nine Realms and other movies. But for the most part, that book is completely closed and forgotten. And I do feel that had Moon Knight not been a critical success, I don't know how it's done with audiences, because I know I watch Grace Holloway on Beyond the Trailers. That's the only YouTube-related entertainment channel I can watch that actually gives me inside information that's very helpful. Granted, she's a little too optimistic about these comic book properties than I am, but she has enough of a level head. And she does play it straight. She likes talking about the business and talks about the business, as opposed to, say, something like Clownfish TV, where they spend hours talking about how horrible feminists are, while completely ignoring the fact that, dude, there's a major corporation run by corporate men who don't give a crap about this science fiction bullshit. So, meanwhile, Grace Holloway actually, mentions a lot of that stuff. I'm probably saying her name wrong, but yeah, Beyond the Trailer, I highly recommend that. But like I said, she gets a little too giddy and happy about this stuff than I do, and I'm a freaking kaiju fan here. Hey Doomzilla, yeah, have a good night. Common Writer, yeah. Go ahead, I'll read your comments when this is over. Just right now, I'm just spewing on my own, but I will be reading your comments, and so when you revisit this in the future, you'll see what I thought about your thoughts. But I'm sorry if I was ignoring the comment section there. But yeah, Common Writer, thank you so much for joining us. He says, great stream, had a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll be here for the next one. Oh yeah, definitely come and see me Tuesday. Although, like I said, that's pretty much just going to be me and me alone talking about Godzilla monsters. But yeah, ultimately this entertainment, even knowing that now people are more interested in comic book superheroes and characters like this, ultimately all this is meant for the mainstream. And all this is an investment that needs help from the mainstream. A sad example I can bring up is Universal Studios, or Universal Productions, Universal Movie Entertainment. Universal, just call them Universal for now. They went in hard and... oh, by the way, Peacock is a very good streaming service for free. Yeah, there's a paid version that gives you a lot more, but Peacock on its own, on the free version, not half bad. So there's another reason if you want to get Roku and not pay for every streaming service that comes out. But no, the thing with Universal is that they went in full on hard with nerd culture, and they were going to start off with a trilogy of nerd-based ephemera movies. Those being The Wolfman, Scott Pilgrim Conquers the World, and, as we mentioned earlier, and tying this all back, Scott Pilgrim... no, not Scott... I already said Scott Pilgrim versus the World. They were going to... The third film of this nerd ephemera trilogy, so to speak, this unofficial nerd ephemera trilogy, was going to be Mountains of Madness with Guillermo del Toro. Oh yes, Retro Crush isn't half bad either, Doomzilla. Although with that said, there's a lot of anime from the early 90s and 80s that's just not good. I know it has a lot of titties and violence and all that, but it's like, I'm so sorry for using the T word, everyone, in the future. It has a lot of breasts and violence, but, it's still not good stuff. It's like, I'm sorry. It might appeal to the edgelords in the audience, but, it's still crap if you think about it. But yeah, no, Retro Crush is pretty good, and it is a nice place to find obscure anime you wouldn't really find elsewhere, so... but no. The problem was that they went in full on hard with this nerd trilogy ephemera. The Wolfman was famously a troubled production that had to be refilmed on multiple occasions, and the studio got cold feet with the practical effects. Hence, it all got replaced by less good looking CGI, and it was effects from Rick Baker, so they were a lot better looking than whatever the CGI replacements were. And that movie got butchered before it came to theaters, and it did very little business when it finally went into the theaters. Barely anyone saw it. And that was one of the first major failings of an attempt to bring back the Universal monsters. Like, I'm glad the original films aren't completely forgotten, but it's sad that all the attempts to bring them back have more or less failed outside of that fairly easy to produce Invisible Man movie I've yet to see, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And thank goodness they decided to go with that route instead of, oh god, what were they originally Johnny Depp was going to play the Invisible Man, and now look at where we're at. Yeah, that was a bullet dodged. It's like, no offense, but regardless which side you're on in that chaos, it's still a shit show, and it would have affected the entertainment regardless. So Hollywood, please screen your actors and make sure they're not too crazy before you let them, take these well-known public characters from fiction and do stupid shit. So, it's like, yeah, Jared Leto Joker was pretty bad, but then you have that actress who, who's supposed to be playing a highly advanced Wakanda scientist, and then, yeah, never mind. That's a whole different thing I don't want to get into. It's like, yeah, screen your actors, make sure they're not too crazy before you hire them. Oh my goodness. So, but yeah, so the Fate, and then Scott Pilgrim the World, which is a really good movie, and thankfully had a lot of goodwill during the production. When it finally premiered, nobody went to see it. And it's a generally good movie. I think I even like it better than the comic it's based on. Granted, though, the comic it's based on is still very good in its own right. It had a lot of great elements that the movie lacked. Like, I'm kind of sad that we never saw Scott Pilgrim versus the twins' evil robot army. But it was still cool what they were able to do with what they were able to do with it. Unfortunately, that movie turned out to be a complete box office bomb. And those were major factors in deciding the cancellation of At the Mountains of Madness, which was supposed to be the third film in this go big, go hard with the nerd culture. And I think multiple other studios have kind of suffered suit as well. The Marvel films have never been nerd-friendly. They've always been about the mainstream. Even the Marvel Cinematic Universe, despite all the risks it eventually took in the end, it ultimately veers to kowtowing, appealing to the mainstream audiences, the ones who aren't nerds. Hence the reason, I think that's the real reason we keep getting all these comical quips, and why a lot of these Marvel movies are more lighthearted comedies about the heroes dicking around with each other than actual big battles between good and evil, while DC try to go into that really hard, and even knowing that the fans love them for it, the box office has been less so. Although it's that said, I'm still honestly shocked that Aquaman did so well. Not because it was, the character, but that movie feels like a Joel Schumacher Batman film, except it's underwater with how insane and ridiculous it gets. And there's very little interpersonal character drama that mainstream audiences like. It's just a big, dumb, goofy fantasy movie based on a wonderfully goofy underwater comic book. But I'm honestly shocked that movie did so incredibly well. Although, on the other hand, it is weird how nobody really talks about Aquaman that much anymore. So, who knows if the sequel is going to have the same level of business, or it's going to be one of those things where, yeah, everybody was kind of burned from the first film despite everyone going to see it, and hence there's not really much goodwill to see the sequel. But we'll see what happens. So, but ultimately, that's the thing I realize. These films are not being made for us nerds. Yeah, they're based on stuff we love, and they might do some good decisions, but ultimately we have to stop thinking it's bad enough that we're entitled to this stuff. Even I suffer from that. It's like, oh, a new Ultraman show is coming out. I hope it's badass and awesome. Cut to 25 episodes later. Oh no, Ultraman Trigger, what have you done? But with that says, what we have in mind for these things is not what the big studios and the corporations have in mind. And yeah, they fall and fail in their own ways, but at the same time, sadly, the stuff still appeals to mainstream audiences. To quote the comical gag in the British television series Spaced, it's like, you may hate Jar Jar Binks, but kids love Jar Jar Binks, hence we're going to sell freaking Jar Jar Binks. And that is the thing I realized with Moon Knight. Now, I'm going to have to talk to Mike Wellman about his thoughts on the series, and maybe other people who love the Moon Knight character, but yeah, at the end of the day, that was a series that was altered a bit for the mainstream, despite all the really cool things they were able to do in it. I love that it was a much darker series than anything we've seen on Disney+. I love how they were able to able to lean into the horror elements without becoming portentous about it. Like pretentious meets edgelord scariness. Like the Zack Snyderverse. I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of that portentous nonsense that seems to appeal to most fans. But no, they were able to do the horror and the darkness without going overboard in being horror and darkness. The jokes were generally charming and hilarious. And again, I love how they kept things so kind of bizarre and weird. It was very reminiscent of like early era Tim Burton, but still very clever in its own right. It was even a little Douglas Adams in some of its weirdness too. So, and I know he liked to play with fantasy elements here and there. So, I better save this before something happens. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Moon Knight. Like, I enjoyed it immensely, but ultimately, I can see why diehard Moon Knight fans were a little disappointed with it. And sorry about that. Whenever I save it, it makes that weird noise. And I can also see why I can also see why that show should not get a second season, because again, that final horror movie, dark, humorous horror movie style fantasy stinger at the very end of the series was so perfect that I really hope we might see Moon Knight later down the line, and I wouldn't mind revisiting the character as well as Oscar Isaac in the role, because again, it's Oscar Isaac. He's goddamn charming. He's almost up there with Idris Elba in the sense that, hey, we can have a man crush on this guy. It's okay. So, by the way, I am so looking for Idris Elba as a genie and Tilda Swinton as his friend. Holy crap! And directed by George Miller. I am looking forward to that. There's a new movie that had its trailer released today called 300 Years of Longing, or 3,000 Years of Longing, I think it's called. It looks like a fantasy comedy horror anthology from George Miller, the guy behind Mad Max, about Tilda Swinton being an old woman who accidentally awakens a genie played by Idris Elba. And it looks like they kind of become friends and lovers, but there's also a lot of flashbacks to a lot of the past people who have wished for wishes and suffered horrific because of it. And I think Tilda Swinton is trying to figure out what the hell her wishes are going to be without ending in the same fate. But it looks so fun and wacky, and plus Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba and George Miller. That's like, yes, I'm sold. Those three, you had me at one, then you put in the other two. Now I'm in for it. But that movie looks great. Look at the trailer; it just looks so colorful and oddball. But yeah, it's like, yeah, Moon Knight was very much in that same realm. And of course, before I end talking about Moon Knight tonight, I really, 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 really love the fact that we got a kaiju fight in the end. I know a lot of people hate it when mainstream Marvel movies do that. It ends on a giant monster fight. And it seems we're getting nothing but kaiju. It's like Loki ended with a really cool kaiju. You know, that giant space-eating cloud thing. The Eternals ended with a planet-sized kaiju fight, even though that movie kind of sucked in the end. Shang-Chi, I was already enjoying the movie very much for what it was, but then you throw in heroic dragon fights Lovecraftian bat demon, and it's like, okay, I love the movie even more. And then this was even better because we know Khonshu. We love Khonshu, even though he is a bastard. He is a terrifying bastard. It's like, I think a more realistic, being employed by the Grim Reaper is probably the best way to describe that character. But yeah, it's like for him to grow giant-sized battle against this alligator lady, and of course Ahmet, even knowing she suffers from one of those comic book things where she's supposed to be the big villain, but we don't see her till the very end. But she does make one hell of an impact with the time she's got, because first off, she has a fantastic design. And I'm not just saying that because she's good for a giant alligator. She's great looking. It's like, holy crap. I never thought much about anthropomorphic alligator women, but now I'm starting to see a lot different. And I'm not alone. When Double Toasted itself goes into a huge rant about how fine the alligator girl looks, you know you've succeeded in designing an appealing looking character. So, but then again, they were lusting after that hippo girl, and I just see the hippo girl as a fun big sister type character. So people are weird. I'm weird, but it's like, when I see a manatee, I see, oh, that's a cute looking animal. When normal people see a manatee, I can see why sailors mistake that for a woman and wanted to do it. It's like, what? You're insane. So, but yeah, no. Amat had a great looking design. She was sexy, she was scary, and the fact that she was a soul-sucking monster who had a lot of direct deaths directly connected to her. That, she was a pretty good villain in that regard. But she was too good of a villain too, and I really hope we don't see her again. It's like you're just going to kind of ruin it like Thanos after the snap. It's like the character is greatly diminished. Even though I did enjoy a much more evil version of Thanos showing up in Endgame. So, but yeah, no, she was a great looking character. Khonshu was a great looking character, and then they just instantly go giant size and have a really cool giant fight scene while our heroes are fighting on the street level. And it was such an insane ending, too. Granted, though, it doesn't make much sense. Like, I can't stand movies that take place in fantasy universes where these insane things happen and they're not even commented upon. Because, you know, there's a lot of, like, terrifying things that happen in the real world, and even though they happen way too much, you'll at least see a couple of news stories and acknowledgments here, there, in the general public consciousness. Here, it's like, oh yeah, there was a massive planet-sized giant who destroyed the moon, but yeah, I got work to do. No, there would be at least some talk and fear about that, but I don't know. I like the ending very much, and yeah, I was enjoying the series as is, and you threw in a giant monster fight with a kick-ass bird, ghost dude, and a sexy alligator soul-sucking woman, and it's like, okay, you won me. I love this show. I love it even more. It's like, I felt the same about, again, Loki and Shang-Chi. I was already enjoying those shows immensely, and then boom, kaiju, and it was so great. They're honest kaiju characters. Like, they hold their own. They have some personality to them. They're major elements of the story. These aren't like the real comic books where, hey, there's a giant monster, one hit, it's dead, or most other movies where, oh yeah, there's a giant monster threat, but it's pretty superfluous to everything else that's going on in the story. So it's like, that's how I felt about the Power Ranger movie. It's like, you know, it's you just want to talk about these teens having pretty crummy lives, and it's like, oh wait, we got to do the Zords now. Just skip the Zords and let's go home. I'm done. So, okay, so we have 10. There seems to be, how many people are watching this so far? There's 10. Okay, 5 viewers, only 10 views. Hold on, I should save this again before I call it quits. I'm not going to call it quits. Like I said, only 52 minutes. Holy crap. Average view. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm looking at average view duration, 55 minutes. Okay, that's why the seconds on the clock isn't changing. How long have I been going so far? 5 watching, streamed 1 minute. Oh, hold on. I think I have it. Hold on. Let me check this out. I gotta see how long I've been going. Okay. Let's see how long I've been streaming. 2 hours. I've been going 2 hours on this. Okay. Alright. So I might end this pretty soon, but let's go over the comments. So, Common Writer, I'm going to try to go over all your comments. But yeah, let me save this first. Okay, save as. Okay. Sarlene Crustacea. Okay, that's her new name. Yeah, I like that a lot more than Queen Cancer. Like, I didn't mind Queen Cancer, but it's like it's like using the terms Corona or ISIS. Those words had better meanings long before they were co-opted by more terrible things. Like, I had this really awesome Egyptian-themed giant robot warrior. Oh yeah, hey, Earth Baragon is in the chat. Also known as James. He says, that is because you don't have Brayton to sing. Yeah, Brayton, yeah, he's taking kind of a break from online activities for the foreseeable future. Me, Andres, and Andrew, we really hope to see him next month, but that depends on how things go with him. But yeah, Brayton usually, even knowing Brayton doesn't give a shit about any of this crap, he's still a very fun presence to be with. And he's very clever and witty with a lot of his things. So, granted, though, I think he might be a little too mean-spirited. Like, there's no way I could have talked about Moon Knight without him stopping me like 2 minutes in. It's like, Raph, this is all bullshit. You're wasting your life on crap. Giant alligator babe. Okay. Hey, James, if you don't mind, if you want to come aboard, I'll be happy to have you. Although I think you're probably at work right now because it is a Friday night. But if you say so in the comments, I can bring you in for a little bit. So, okay. Let me check my Facebook for a moment, just to make sure I don't have any new messages I gotta worry about. Yeah, I've been going over for 2 hours right now. And I'm not the best speaker in the world, so hopefully I'm a little more coherent tonight than I am usually. So, oh, Ruff, you're never coherent. Yes, thank you, whoever said that. Okay, but Common Writer, I promise I go over some of your comments, so I'm going to try my best to go over the comments. Meanwhile, yeah, let me just put some color on this girl here. So you guys are probably getting sick and tired of things. So yeah, let's put in Godzilla here. So, and I'll talk about this in a little bit. So you just have something more interesting to look at. So, okay. Okay, there you go. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so passing the part where everyone likes Sarlene's blue coloring. Doomzilla says, unfortunately I haven't seen it as I don't have Disney Plus. Oh, so sorry about, hopefully we didn't go overboard on spoilers for you, Doomzilla. But yeah, I do highly recommend, Moon Knight. And if there's a chance I can get on DVD or something, maybe I'll do some live watches that I don't save. Alright, Common Writer says, it was different and tried something new while keeping things people enjoyed. I am more familiar with Comet Sex and Pretty Faithful minus the Stephen Grant personality, but I thought everything they changed was fine minus the origin. I thought was a bit odd. Yeah, the origin of... Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. We love Oscar Isaac's various human characters, but there was so little of Moon Knight himself. And that was the main point I should have brought during my talk. Because this is made for a mainstream audience, they're probably more interested in the character drama. And it's good character drama with good actors. That I can forgive the interpersonal drama if it's actually good interpersonal drama with people and characters I actually care about. As opposed to, like, say, Game of Thrones, where it's like, yeah, there's drama, but nothing's really happening, and all these people are assholes. Good performances, though. If you keep the actor, apparently they fire British actors all the time on that show. But yeah, I don't mind that stuff, but if you're there for Moon Knight and the supernatural stuff and the action, there's so little of it. So much so that even when we finally got to Mark's origin as Moon Knight, it was so underplayed. That should have been an episode in its own right had this been a proper multi-episode series outside the 6 we got. So again, it's perfect for mainstream audiences who just want to get to know, who are being introduced to this. But if you're a big fan of Moon Knight, there's barely any Moon Knight in it. In fact, it's funny, Moon Knight and the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie from a couple of years ago, or just Power Rangers, they both have the same problem. The superhero stuff kind of gets pushed off to the side for the interdrama of the main characters and their personalities. Yet Moon Knight is able to mix the fantasy elements and the dramatic down-to-earth elements better together in a much more appealing manner. Even though the fantasy elements are completely pushed to the side. In fact, the fantasy elements, they feel like a nice complement to the Earthbound drama, as the Earthbound drama and character development is a nice complement to the fantasy elements. Whereas the Power Ranger movie just feels like, yeah, you just wanted to make a high school drama, another high school teen drama thing, but you were forced to put in the superhero elements because, oh yeah, it's one of those things. It's like it's almost like how I feel about like Riverdale or the Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You're adapting a property for name value, but ultimately it's obvious you want to tell a completely different story. And again, it's okay if you want to tell a completely different story, but it feels a little hollow when you're trying to do in the context of a pre-existing property. So this isn't your dad's Archie comic, yeah. So. And also, more to the point, a lot of that stuff is just poorly written and poorly done. So even if they are doing something unique, it doesn't matter. It sucks. Like Gotham, that television show, that was a roller coaster between really good ideas and performances and execution, and really shitty twists and melandering of just, pointless plot points and things going nowhere. It's like you think it's going to, you think everything's progressing to where it should be, and then suddenly it does a twist that, it feels suspect. Like, they didn't do it because they thought it was a clever twist. They must have done it because, it's like, oh, they still had this actress on contract, and they couldn't afford anything else, so yeah, screw it. We're going to screw that all over. So yeah, it is a real shame. But yeah, let's get back to Common Writers. I thought 90% of the changes, okay, we read that. I was surprised they got Ethan Hawke to be in it. Yeah, Ethan Hawke is a really good actor. He needs to be in more things. So, Common Writer says, I wouldn't call the Penguin obscure. I'd say the obscure character, someone like Polka Dot Man, who was never in my life. Did I expect to make an appearance in a Hollywood film? That is granted, but again, both the Penguin and Polka Dot Man, there are so many different versions and variations of these characters already after 50 plus years of comic books and animated shows and movies. Penguin way more than Polka Dot Man. That when you do present a different version of the character, or one that meets a sticky permanent end, it's okay because you're going to see or meet those characters again in a different form. So, and I think that's why DC has been a little better about it than Marvel, because with Marvel, it's like, nobody cares about any of our characters outside the ones that sell. Hence, Magneto is everywhere, but all the really cool X-Men, all the other villains of the Marvel Universe are pretty much ignored. So, more or less. Whereas the DC characters, they really do kind of play with those characters quite a bit. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But you still see different versions of these characters, and you can still have fun with them. So, if you got the toy box, do something with the toy box, so to speak. Okay. Common Writer says, I'd say the DC used to be best in terms of animation, but looking at the animation quality of The Long Halloween, I'd say they have lost that title. I actually didn't mind The Long Halloween. I thought that was a good version of the story. I didn't like that it tied into another DC animated universe they're trying to do. Warrior King asks, has anyone seen season 3 or 4 of Young Justice? Any good? Oh, God. I think season 1 and 2 of Young Justice is way better than season 3 and 4. It's much more focused. Like, I'm not a big fan of Young Justice. I do watch it. It's a good, filler material when it comes on. It does suffer from a lot of the, like, young adult problems. Like, oh yeah, the story is so focused on the younger characters. Like, the lack of adult characters and an inability to see this larger world of the DC universe really becomes suspect. It's like, oh yeah, there's all this cool stuff happening here, but let's just focus on the teens here. Granted, though, there was some interesting stories going on in those first 2 seasons. But as far as season 3 goes, it definitely feels like a step down from the quality that season 2 offered. I thought season 2 was great, with the whole Reach subplot and Blue Beetle being the main focus. And I don't even like Blue Beetle. It's like, I think that version of the character is kind of annoying. Quick drink. Oh my god, it's parched. Sorry about that, I burped a bit. The 3rd season of Young Justice just felt a little, how should I say, unfocused. The 4th season, they're doing some really interesting things with the 4th season. But at the same time, it feels like, again, it's not as unfocused as season 3, but at the same time, I feel like they're not really, they're going to lose their way at the end, and they're not really going to pay off a lot of the story elements that they've been building up in the last two seasons. So I do feel that we're going to be left on another cliffhanger ending. And not only that, but according to, like, from what I understand, the ratings for these last 2 seasons on HBO Max have not at all been good. So there's a good chance that this current 4th season of Young Justice will be its final season. And with that says, they really should tie up all the loose ends, or at least do something satisfying. But I do appreciate that we are meeting more characters. We are seeing a wider version of the DC universe. We're getting these somewhat self-contained little story arcs that are 4 or 3 episodes long. And it is neat that they're bringing back so many bizarre characters. Like, honestly, I didn't expect they would bring back, spoiler warning a bit for you, Warrior King, Razor from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. No, Razor from the Green Lantern animated series, making Young Justice and that series connected. So that was kind of a fun little thing. But at the same time, yeah, it does feel a little unfocused, and I don't know how they're going to tie in everything at the end. I just feel it's going to be another streaming style cliffhanger. Although, granted, we're getting a lot of episodes this season. So it's like, so yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it's okay, but it's definitely a huge come down from the success they had with the 2nd season. So, okay. Alright, hold on. Let me just focus on this a bit. Okay. Oh, little mistake. Little mistake. Okay. What time is it? It's 12:40 on my end. It's really late on your guys' end. Oh, wait, yeah, Earthbaragon. What did he say? I'm at work on the phone, won't be able to. Okay, good. Sorry about that, James. Almost if I left you hanging. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. But yeah, in the future, James, when you are available again, I definitely want to bring you aboard. In fact, I might make an exception Tuesday with my Godzilla tier list thing Because you seem like a good calm sport too. So, but at the same time, yeah, that's mostly me. Doomzilla says DC has a dominant level of animation over Marvel. Yeah, even to this day, Marvel is getting a little better with their animated works, but not by much. Some disagreement. Common Writer says, I hated Shang-Chi because to me it was nothing worse than having to sit through bad jokes, and personally I found the humor in Shang-Chi to be awful. I thought the humor in Shang-Chi worked a lot better. It was mixed in a lot better with the... it was more of an action-adventure movie than something where it's a serious drama ruined by jokes or interrupted by jokes. There are jokes all over the place, but it's not as bad as, say... Again, I love Thor Ragnarok, but some of the creative decisions I thought were pretty terrible. Like, they just saw Asgard destroy, and it's followed up by a pretty pathetic joke. It's like, no. Don't do that. So... And also, just to see Slattery come back again as a major character. It's like, I'm glad they didn't kill him, they kept him around. It's like, I know, I liked him. It's like, even when they revealed that he was a fake Mandarin, I didn't mind. Because it was such a fun performance from Ben Kingsley. So, okay. Arthur Harrow was in the comics, but he was changed a lot for the show. Okay, I wish you were still here, Common Right? I'd like to see what the differences are. Warrior King says the UC Gundam timeline does a good job of showing what they are, that there are good guys and bad guys on both sides of the original Federation versus Xeon conflict, but there usually is a handful of true blue assholes egging the situation on, egging the violence on. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, okay, granted, the UC Gundam timeline is probably stronger than, say, something like Gundam Destiny or Gundam Seed, where the characters' motivations are really haphazardly bizarre. Even Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, as good as that show was, kind of suffered from this weirdness. It's like honest. I think Turn A Gundam was pretty good at its characterization, but I only saw like the first 20 or so episodes of that series. So that series deserves to get a release in America. So, mustache and all, metallic mustache and all. Okay. Common Writer says, I felt the same way, very disappointed they killed such a good character, but at least they killed him off in a good reveal. Sadly, I must depart. It is 1:09 on my end, and I'm holding my eyes open with toothpicks. Yeah, I know how that's like. So far, I'm doing okay here, but yeah, I think I might have to call it quits a little bit, so if you guys want to get some final questions, then please do. I'm going to go on for another half an hour, and then I'm going to call it in. Great stream, I had a lot of fun. Doomzilla says there's also Retro Crush, which is a good streaming service for classic anime. I give my thoughts about that, but yeah, Retro Crush isn't half bad. Warrior King says forever, I'm one of my pet peeves regarding modern films and shows is when they bring back a classic character and then proceeds to piss all over said character to make the cool new characters look better. Yeah, I do feel that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I kind of get the feeling that was one of the problems I had with Young Justice first season. It's like, all these younger, newer characters are brought in, and all the older, established characters aren't really mentors. They're just there to get out of the way for the kids to have an adventure. But at the same time, yeah, I can totally see, like, you bring back a character that's supposed to be a big deal, and then he or she is just kind of, like, pushed to the side and forgotten for some pretty dumb reasons, so... Okay, so let's see what we got here. Doomzilla says, I really enjoyed Scott Pilgrim. It was a complete shame it never got to see. I got to see it as it was a year I graduated from high school. Oh yeah, seeing it in theaters was a lot of fun. Even knowing that me and my brother Gabe were the only ones in there. So, and Working says, and yes, it is very sad how modern actors and filmmakers keep getting themselves into trouble or saying or doing stupid things that damage your ability to take them seriously in their roles. Yeah, it's like watching classic Hollywood movies. There are, I can still suspend my disbelief and understand the context of the situation to enjoy the movie for what it is. But when there's an actor on screen who is a complete and total scumbag in real life, it's harder to take that film seriously. So, okay. Or to support the film 100%, I should say. And then he says, also, it's annoying how Hollywood picks and chooses who can't and can't get away with their stupidity or bad hot takes. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Doomzilla says, I'm fine. I refuse to subscribe to Disney Plus out of principle. Yeah, it's understandable. I'm only using Disney Plus because my brother Miguel and his partner. Oh damn it! I know she's a great girl. I forgot her name. Anyways, yeah, they too are bigger Disney fans than I am, and they got the service for that. I'm just enjoying it as a third-party member, so to speak. My name's on the account. Don't think I'm pirating this, dum-dums. So, talking to those, I know who you are. That's what you're probably thinking. Not you guys. So far, you guys have been pretty cool in the chat and probably watching. Okay, Warrior King says, yeah, there's a lot of genre fiction being made for audiences who don't like genre fiction. It's getting old fast. Unfortunately, Warrior King, it still sells a lot of tickets. There might be a backlash to it. I know that's one of the main reasons the Transformer movies don't do so well either, but at the same time, it's kind of a shame that the backlash against the Transformers led to Pacific Rim not doing so well because people assumed it was another Transformers movie. But also it was also a new property, so I think they didn't want to give it a chance there. But yeah, for the most part, this stuff is still being made for mainstream audiences. Granted, things are getting better in the sense that the scripts are getting more intelligent and they're taking better risks now. But we'll see how that lasts. It always goes one way or another. For every good entertainment show we get pretty much some bad ones. So, and for the most part, for all the good genre-related films and fiction you'll get, there'll be like 100 more bad shows that will appeal to the regular mainstream audiences on a more emotional level. So I think that's one of the big problems that's happened to Doctor Who. Granted, I kind of prefer emotional Doctor Who over intellectual, cold Doctor Who. One of the problems, I think, why the original series didn't do well half the time, especially when you got to the 80s with the Eric Sayward, John Nathan Turner era, where, you know, it was all style, no substance, no emotion, all style, no emotion. But at the same time, yeah, it's you just have to look at the current state of Star Trek. It's like no intelligent story writing whatsoever. It's just emotional hits, regardless if they're deserved or not. So, but yeah, ultimately, fiction. You know, this is all entertainment, and Hollywood is commerce and creativity, and commerce usually wins out. As sad as that usually is. So, all right. It's also probably a reason why the MonsterVerse movies aren't as highbrow as we want them to be, but they definitely get butts in seats. If you want to see a quote-unquote monkey beat the shit out of a defenseless monkey get beaten up by a dinosaur. So, okay, let's see what else we got. We're almost done with reading the comments. James says, I work Tuesday night, but you push it off to Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe I'll do that. So, but like I said, for the most part, it's just going to be me going through all these different Godzilla monsters. So, maybe I'll do another night owling next week on Thursday or Wednesday and bring you aboard. And Warrior Kickson says, oh yes, Gundam Seed and Destiny were the poor man's reimagining of the OG Gundam and Zeta Gundam. Yeah, and it's sad too because I will give a little bit of Seed leeway because there were some elements about that series I really did like. And of course, the main movie had an invasion of giant silver alien monsters, so yeah, that instantly made it more forgiving. But yeah, a lot of the characters in that were, you know, did some pretty horrible and miserable stuff for like pretty vague and shallow reasons. And I think that's more just bad Japanese animation writing than anything else. So, okay, so hold on, let me just finish up some things here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be ending this stream within a Thursday, Class Condor. Yeah, so maybe I'll bring you on Thursday for sure. So, but yeah, let me finish off some things here. Okay. Oh, okay, that's okay. I see. Okay. Uh-oh, don't want to do that. Get rid of view. Combine colors. Yeah, that's the problem when you change the line work after you've done some coloring on this. You got to go back and tweak it a bit here and there. So, yeah. Oh God, Thank you, Earth Baragon, for doing all this digital tracing for me. By the way, it's like, yeah, I go in and alter it a little bit, but holy crap, it's like without your help, I wouldn't be able to do half the illustrations I'm doing as it is. So you are a godsend in that regard. Yeah, it's like This may be based on my own original inks, but Earth Baragon went back and digitally re-inked them for me, and he's able to do it far quicker than I can. Although I'm getting pretty good at it through Photopea here. So S-Class Condor, Jesus, my typing sucks. That's okay, Earth Baragon. And Doomzilla says, at least the mechas were cool. Mine in the Strike Nor Gundam, so... Okay, so yeah, I'm going to pretty much end this pretty soon. You guys have any final questions or comments you want to add? Now's the time to do it, because bring your items to the counter, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to close this shop up, so... It is 12:51 on my end. I am going to end this at 1:15 on my end. I think that's what should be a good point to close it up on. So we have about 20-ish or 25 minutes left. Oh, wait. Yeah, my experiment. Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me try out a little experiment here before we continue, since we are coming to the end of the night. Gundam 00 was the one with the silver alien. Seed and Seed Destiny were the ones with the coordinators versus natural-born humans. Alright, and with Kira and Shin, two of the worst Gundam pilots ever, they make Judo Ashada looks good. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting Seed and Destiny are actually two series connected to each other. Yeah, Double O's is the one with the aliens and the big conspiracy of the world government preparing for the meeting of aliens. Okay. Alright, so that's where I went wrong there. Okay. Select all. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a little experiment here. Okay. Hope I don't get too much in trouble. Oh. No. Stop. Okay. Not that loud. Okay. Hold on, let's put it... Yeah, I'm going to play some instrumental music in the background, but see if I can get away with it if it's at a very low enough speed, like at a 5 point here. Okay, and okay, that might be a little too low. It's a little too high. Okay, let's just leave it at 0.5 to be safe. Okay, so yeah, this is a whole instrumental playlist I've done. And instrumental music tends to do a little better than, and plus I got the crickets going too, but I doubt anyone's going to hear it very well. I'm going to check the audio on the TV pretty soon just to see how it sounds. So I'm going to mute myself. But yeah, let's get back to the comments here. Okay. Okay, you're talking about the pilots of this Gundam series. Yeah, for a moment there, it's like, Shin was insufferable. I hated it. Okay, so, by the way, Earth Baragon mentions my Ultraman Great Mosasaur Wrath show. I will happily show that. Let me save it. So, because that was great to see such an obscure monster get some fan art. So, and that's another thing. You draw monsters way more than I do. It's like, it gets me it's like if I'm not dealing with personal nonsense, it gets pretty damn scary. Try to do any artwork right now. Thankfully, the current commission I'm finishing. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that. That's a pretty scary looking, without the shading, that's a pretty scary looking Queen Cancer there. So, okay, hold on. The live streaming's still going okay. I'm going to boost up the sound of the crickets just in case. Okay. Actually, yeah, that's still a little too loud. You can still hear it pretty well. Okay, I am going to mute myself very quickly. I will share the Mosasaur in a moment, Earth Baragon. Actually, let me save it before I forget. Okay. And I should keep talking because if the music plays on its own, it's not going to work. Wow, 5 is a lot more... But then again, this is a very loud track. This is the Smoke on the Water instrumentals that was used for the recent Hellboy movie trailer. And it's a really good take on the song in its own right. So, sadly, it was probably too good for that trailer and even better for that movie. Okay, so, hold on. I'm just trying to retrack your Mosasaur here. Oh, there it is. I have yet to put it in my favorites, but yeah, let me download it and then share it on the Photopea. Earth Baragon, why did you name the monster the Hoshisaurus? What was the thinking behind that? I was just out of curiosity. I would have just remained with the marine reptile myself. But I will share that before because I do like the Ultraman Great Monsters, so... And then we got Akira Kafube's War in Outer Space, but that's probably still a little too loud, so let me... Okay, here we are at 5. It was at a 10. No wonder it was so loud. Okay. Bum 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 bum. I love the song. I really do love it. It's still too loud, so I am going to mute very quickly just to hear how it sounds on the TV. So, okay, I will be back in a few seconds. Okay, I don't know why. Everything else is a lot louder than it should be. Okay, like the microphone comes out loud, but not... Well, I don't come out as loud as the background sound, so... Maybe if I lower it even a little more like that, so... Okay. What was I... Oh, yeah. I'm going to show off, Oh, yeah, we got more monster nonsense going on. So, is this nothing but Godzilla music? Where's the actual good instrumental music? Probably better. I could get away with this stuff, too. And me muting there for a moment was not a good idea. I'm surprised the stream hasn't ended yet. Okay, so, hey, Zyza Draws! Hey, what's up, man? Okay, Zyza Draws is a very good artist in his own right. So, actually, I think he's probably a stronger artist than I am, because he's able to whip out these really fun, cartoonish illustrations in no time with such vibrant colors. And he recently did a 31-day-long salute to all the original Ultraman monsters. So definitely check out Zyza Draws stuff on his DeviantArt page, and you also have a Twitter too, I believe. So yeah, and Doomzilla recognizes Zyza Draws. So, Goji Shay, no, not Goji Shay. I forgot he's here. James James Earth Baragon says Marine Reptile is boring, and I had to give him a name. I know that. It's like I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to being accurate with kaiju names, which is why I'm a little hesitant to give monsters own original names on my end. And I don't think... And any attempt I tried in the past kind of failed, too. So, although there's a couple of Pachimon monsters who I could definitely give some funny nicknames to. But this is a recent illustration Earth Baragon did of the obscure comic book monster who he calls the Hoshisaurus. I'll just call it the giant marine reptile. But it was a mosasaur creature that showed up in the American comic book for Ultraman Towards the Future. And hold on, I'm going to put the microphone in front of my face to see if we can get better audio here. Okay, hello. Do I sound a lot louder? Okay, because having that napkin over the phone was probably a bad idea. Hello. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty bad experiment. I bet Brayton, when he starts talking to me again, he's going to be like, dude, this was a horrible stream. But yeah, it's cool that Ultraman Great, better known as Ultraman Towards the Future, was a 13-episode Japanese-Australian co-production, which only aired briefly here in the United States and syndicated markets. I know some people said it aired on Fox Kids about less than a year before Power Rangers made it big. But in my region, that never happened. And instead, we got Ultraman Towards the Future airing on my local Channel 13, which used to be really good about airing like weird monster stuff here and there. In fact, they were the ones... That was the channel that introduced me to Godzilla. And Ultraman Towards the Future was successful for a brief time, a very brief time, that they made a comic book series through a new publisher called Nemesis Comics. And fortunately, the Nemesis never went anywhere, and I think Ultraman was their only real seller. In fact, I think some of their other comics never even had proper endings or even releases. And we got Al Hurt's theme song for the Green Hornets playing in the background. But again, it's still a little too loud. So yeah, there's a brief panel where Ultraman Great is fighting a giant marine reptile and a very large mosasaurus type monster at that. Even by Ultraman standards, the creature's like twice his size. And it's a really cool panel, and it's cool that they snuck in as many original monsters in this comic book series as possible. So it was really cool to see you, Earth Baragon, actually take this character and give it some proper fan art. Granted, you definitely made him more like a fish like Gharial and getting rid of the expressive eyeballs than I would have, but it's still really cool. I don't know if you can still hear me, Earth Baragon, but are you planning on doing all the Ultraman Great lesser known monsters like the ones from the comic book, and possibly the septic tank blob monster that was used in a test film? The story behind that was when they were doing tests for Ultraman Great, special effects tests, the company behind the creature effects used an old monster from a septic tank commercial they made. Obviously, you know what the monster's made of if it's related to a septic tank. And there's small pictures of Ultraman Great fighting this weird brown monster on set, so which is probably an omen of things to come, considering the unfortunate behind the scenes stuff that happened with Ultraman Great and why it was only a 13 episode syndicated series as opposed to this much bigger 50 episode series Tuberai Productions originally envisioned. But yeah, this was a really cool mosasaur. And you know what? Let me see if I have some of Zaizadra's Ultraman pieces saved in my personal collection, because I do like to often I save kaiju images, and sometimes if there's like really cool fan art around, I will definitely collect those too. So, and I know I got a couple of Zaizadra's Ultraman monsters, but I don't know if I got all of them. So, oh, there they are. There's a couple of them. Okay, I'll share these four at least. Going backwards, yeah, this is the Dongo, the quadruped dragon. Yeah, this is very beautiful. I love what you did here, Zaizadraws, with the kind of mimicking the Chinese landscape, even knowing technically the dragon is supposed to be a Babylonian Egyptian monster. Well, technically he comes from an ancient civilization even older than the Babylonians and the Egyptians. So yeah, I think you can get away with this kind of Chinese landscape, but this is beautifully done. So, all right, we got Gango, a very fun monster who I know it'd be impossible to bring him back considering the circumstances behind this character, but I love how you gave him this dynamic perspective and him just stamping his feet like, you know, this is not fair. It's a fun episode, Gango. He's basically a monster that's brought to life through a wishing stone. He's similar to the Crackler from Godzilla, but on a much more comical level. It's like, I do love this guy a lot, and I really think he should come back in some form. Alright, this is, of course, the monster that doomed a million Ultraman mobile games, as well as just Ultraman fandom in general. Thanks a lot, Girus. But yeah, this is his take on Girus, and a little cameo from you-know-who there. But yeah, it's a much more dramatic version of Girus than what we got into the episode itself. And I don't mind Girus, I just hate the fangasms that happens around this poor character. So, alright, and then there is Gabra. I love that you included the poor children that get stuck in this mad episode. So, and this is a really good shot too. So again, you're able to do all this simple artwork, and it's like I struggle just trying to do anything similar to this kind of wonderful dynamic perspective. So, okay, so but that's about it I'm going to share as far as that's concerned. But it's a really good series. Definitely check it out. Okay, enough show and shell. Oh, well, am I done with the claw here? Yeah, I think I am done with the claw here. Okay. Actually, I'm almost done with her. I might as well just finish this off. So, and this is Alan 2 with the big one, which is probably better known as the theme song that was used for the People's Court, that forgotten television show, so to speak. I don't know, is the People Court still around in some form? But it used to be a big thing back in the 80s, and this theme song, which was repurposed from an earlier 80s, earlier 70s piece, is, you know, kind of well known in its own right. Although this song definitely is giving me a copyright claim, if any, so that or I'm talking over it so much that no one will notice. Okay, so let me hurry up. By the way, there's a lot of original kaiju artwork that I've been working a lot on, and you've seen it in some of my past streams, like the Moby Dick show. Yeah, Moby Dick is a pre-existing character, but he's in the public domain, and I can do my own version of the character. and not stepping on any major toes, as long as I don't do anything too stupid and obscene with him, with the poor guy. So his name is Moby Dick after all. No, I'll stop. That was a terrible joke. So Nick and, like, Laura more so than Nick is going to hate me for it. Nick is such a cool guy. Laura, on the other hand, it's like, her boobs, they're not big enough. Oh, God, I miss people. So. Oh, wait a minute. Are we still streaming? Yeah, we're still streaming. Okay. All right, so it looks like we are back to only 5 viewers. So, yeah, guys, this is the time. I'm closing up shop in about 15 minutes. No, 10 minutes. Any final questions, put them in the comments here and now. So, because I am going to stop no matter what. So, okay, where else? Oh, I still got to do her shoulder pads here. Okay, I might just skip that and go to the commission art I got to do. So sorry everybody, I really wanted to work on the Godzilla piece here, but I think I'm going to save that for later. Because there is an overdue, There's an overdue podcast I did with some friends about Godzilla Singular Point, but at this point it's a year old. And I'm just putting it up on the flagpole and just letting people admire it regardless if it's good or not, so. But yeah, it's like I apologize to everybody who is related to this podcast that it hasn't been done sooner. It was a mixture of procrastinating and also insecurities about the whole project because, again, I talked through most of it. I don't think I'm making a very good point. I'm just babbling on. And not only that, but it's also kind of the lack of love Singular Point also kind of caused extra hesitation. But it is something coming in June regardless. And again, thank you very much, Laura, for editing it together and making it a little more coherent. And also big thanks to Earth Baragon for live tracing this and helping me out when I needed it. So, but yeah, we're going to say goodbye to Godzilla Ultima. He'll probably be the big subject for the next night streaming I do. So, oh, no, I don't want to save anything because I didn't do anything on it. Okay. And just one quick look around here. Okay. Yeah, I had all this to do, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take a break right now. Okay, so I am going to save her. So, save as Saurine Crustacea. Yes, I know it already exists. I'm saving over it. And just to back it up, I will also save it as Queen Cancer. That's the only big problem with Photopea. Sometimes there might be a mix-up in the saving process, and all the hard work I did is completely lost, and I got to start from scratch. So I save the file as one Photoshop folder or a PSD, and I save it as another PSD Photoshop folder. What else? Hold on. Warning, please check video resolution. I already did check video resolution. Okay, so yeah, I guess everyone went to bed and disappeared. I haven't heard any comments in a while. Okay, I might end this up a little early. So, okay, sorry about that, everybody. We're still going. We're still going on. So, okay, I don't know what's going on here then. Okay, that's weird. Apparently, yeah. Okay, I'm all by myself. There's still 5 viewers right now. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and quit. Yeah, we went over 2 hours. 3 hours. I've been talking for 3 hours. Usually this was by the time we get to it, I can barely make it past an hour and a half. Hey, Doomzilla. Yeah, Doomzilla, if you have one last question, you're it. I'm not going to answer anything else. So, but yeah, there's Saurine Crustacea. I'm not going to work on her anymore. I'm going to take a quick break and then head on to other things. So, yeah, I think I'm going to sit down. But yeah, let me get out of this and go into other things. Oh, yeah, by the way, just want to try something on the screen here just to see how it looks on the normal TV. Okay, I have these sidebars I made just to kind of fill up screen when I'm recording movies off other people's live streams. So I use this to kind of fill in the square so it looks better on an HD television, although I haven't really fully tested it out on a DVD player. But I made a red version of it. The upcoming Avatar... Oh, that's a good question. It looks a little more, it's funny. It's still the same story, but it looks a little more interesting than the first film. This one looks like it's just going to be an honest to goodness adventure movie where we just explore the world further in the sea locations. But at the same time, like, it looks a little more interesting than the first film. Sorry, I burped again. So sorry about that. That's a lot of bubblies I just drank tonight. So one more bubblies. But yeah, no, it looks definitely it's weird. It doesn't look that much different from the first film. It's like you still see there's going to be a plot line where they're probably going to be fighting, human invaders and corporatism and nature is good and all that. And the only real cosmetic difference, surface difference, is the fact that they're now in the ocean of this world. But it looks a little more appealing to me than the early trailers for Avatar itself. At the same time, though, maybe too much, too little, too late at this point, considering it's an Avatar sequel. And who knows how the general public is going to feel about revisiting a movie that they had goodwill with originally, but the opinions over it have soured immensely. So, but yeah. On OBS right now, I made these little side screens that kind of fill up the screen better. Plus, they're great for covering up things that I don't want seen, because it's like, what is it? I'm showing you the screen to the Photopea right now, but unfortunately, if I was to take away the sidebars, you get those annoying advertisements that Photopea you can't avoid with Photopea. Although if I get the paid version, I might be able to succeed. Oh, and this is a really good song playing right now. Although I don't know if you guys can even hear it at this point because I lowered everything just to be safe. Okay, so, but yeah, I'll put back the sides. I even have some black bars, separate PNGs that cover up the top addresses and some of the lower stuff. So you just see Photopea itself, the working area, and so far that worked out. And there's me in the corner there. Hello, me. So, okay, but yeah, in addition to a crimson one, or as I call it, red wine stars, there is a subtle black and white version of the blue one that we've been getting most of the time. This is great for black and white movies or movies where the colors are like too extreme. You don't want it distracting to the side. So it's like I recently recorded somebody's stream of Tarantula just as a backup copy, and I used that as the sides. But then there's the common blue version, which is the most well known, and I really do love the way this one looks right here. So, okay, but yeah. Actually, I should improve the night owling themes background in the future. So now we're going to say goodbye to Sarlene Crustacea, aka Queen Cancer, for the night, and we're going to that. So there you go, and that is a very beautiful background. So, you know what? The song that's playing right now is one of my all-time favorite songs. I think I'm going to end the night on this one. So. Okay. All right. It is called... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to end the night on this song then. So, okay, that's where I'm going to end it. But yeah, let's get back to Doomzilla. He says, here's my brutal honesty. I'm not hyped for the upcoming film. In fact, I find the franchise to be a bit overrated. Yeah, it is. Well, first off, it shouldn't have been a franchise. I think they should have stopped with movie 1. And the fact that he plans on doing like 5 sequels, I think, is going to be a disaster. So, but for the most part, though, it looks intriguing enough. But I'm not gonna go out to the movie theaters and go crazy for it either. So, okay, so yeah, before I call it a night, I want to get at least one image and place it before I do anything. So, and I'm gonna go over our. Oh, I should stop right now. Hold on. Joy. Apollo 100. Okay, yeah, let me find it. Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah. Because I'm going to play this song, I might as well have some image related to the song in question. So. Hold on. Oh, wait, I hear somebody talking in the background. Oh, wait, that's me. That's me on the TV. Yeah, you should. I'm not enjoying this. Screw you, Raph. Okay, here. Alright. I'm going to go completely down. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find the album cover for the song that I'm going to be playing us out tonight. So, oh god, this is the best I can do. It's not going to be in the best quality. And album covers, I don't know why, even when they're just simple ones like this dumb one I'm about to share, at least it looks, you know, pretty damn... It looks a lot better than some of the banal covers we're getting now today. But then again, I think a lot of artistry has disappeared. Oh, wait a minute. That's an even better cover. How big is that picture? That picture is too small to use. Oh, but I could use both of them. I'm using OBS. Yeah, okay, why not? That's still pretty pathetically small. Okay. Yeah, anyways, I'll make a nice collage related to tonight's song. Okay. Okay. Well, a little bit of dead air, but that's okay. I got no music playing right now, so... Yeah, right. Just looking at some of the stuff here. Alright, I want to thank Wynn very much for showing up earlier. Obviously she was tired, but it meant a lot to me, Wynn. And in the future, yeah, let's bring you aboard with other guests and at earlier time. So I will definitely be doing the Tuesday thing. Oh, wait, yeah, I'll go over some announcements pretty soon. But yeah, first let me take care of some things here. Okay, close you all up. Alright, and then I'm going to go up here. Yeah, if I'm going to close out tonight's show with that song, I do want to put up some images. So forgive me for a little bit. I'm going to post some stuff right up. Okay, well, and one more. Because the other album image is too damn small. Oh, wait a minute, I could still use it. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll throw it to the side then. Yeah, there is no good album-related image to the song I'm about to play, so I might as well just put in a little cheaply done photo collage of the different covers for this song. So, okay, fair enough. Okay, and let me get rid of Cartoon Me. Get rid of you. Okay, and night. Oh wait, yeah, I should. Hold on. Black and white. Oh no. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a good host here. Okay, all right, there we go. All right, so let's go back to the earlier announcements we had at the beginning, just as one last farewell to anybody watching this. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow night on my Twitch stream, my official Twitch stream, Enshohma Lives, I'm doing a triple feature of the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies, when he battles the Daleks. So even if you don't have a Twitch account, you should still be able to watch it for free. You just can't comment in the comment section. If you do make yourself a Twitch account, I'll see you in the comment section. But yeah, they're pretty colorful movies, and if you miss tomorrow's transmission, know that there should be a saved version of it for you to watch later. If not, these two movies are available on Tubi television to watch, at last time I checked. Okay, now, next up, yeah, currently on my Twitch channel, there's something called the Time Mule Sampler, where it's 2 episodes of Time Mule, a podcast that my brother Gabe is connected to, along with his friends Mike and Jason. They're all 3 very funny boys. And definitely check it out. The first part of this this sampler pack is their episode on Turkish Star Wars, where they do a live watch of it. And just give a casual commentary. Don't expect any Mystery Science Theater level amazement. And then the second half is the episode The Best of Time Mule, which is a really good episode in its own right. But also go to Apple's podcast and look up Time Mule and check out their stuff. They do really good stuff regardless. And I hope to be posting full episodes of Time Mule on my YouTube channel based on what my brother Gabe and his friends Mike and Jason will have to say about it. So expect that to be in the future. So if things go well, I'll have at least the first episode of Time Mule uploaded before the end of May. And I'll try to upload a new episode of Time Mule, or an old episode of Time Mule, a re-upload of it once every week or once every 2 weeks, I think. Okay. And last but not least, as far as announcements go, this Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday, I will be doing a tier listing of most of the Godzilla movie kaiju based on a pre-existing tier list. It's just me going through my quick thoughts about these different monsters. And for the most part, I'm not going to have any guests, and I'm not going to be that open to the comments because I don't want my decisions to be influenced at all. But I might bring in a bunch of people at the end of the after the show just for them to yell at me. But that's happening Tuesday night. And as you can see, it's just going to be Giant Condor, and everyone else is going to be in the crappy D list. So, okay. Yeah, so that's basically it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, get rid of you. And, yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close out tonight's show. Thank you, Doomzilla. Thank you, Zizal Draws. Thank you, James. Thank you, Warrior Keen. Thank you, Win. Thank you, Common Writer. Thank you. I already said thank you, Doomzilla, didn't I? Oh, yeah, and thank you, Warrior Keen, if I didn't say that beforehand. I want to thank all you guys for coming aboard and making the comments section a little more lively than it is, because I don't mind doing this show by myself, but it is a pretty scary endeavor. Doomzilla says, great stream, Raph. Thank you, but we'll see how good it is when I revisit it, because I definitely do better when I have guests, and especially when the guests are in good moods. Unfortunately, yeah, it's like maybe they say, what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder, or something of that nature. But yeah, it's like I feel that way about all my friends, and I hope we see them more next month for sure. But yeah, missing you, Brayton, missing you, Andres, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we'll definitely be doing a fun thing next week, and maybe another night owling on Thursday night if possible. So, but yeah, what are we going to end tonight on? I love music. I love sharing music, and I especially love showing music whenever I can. So this particular song is considered something of an annoying novelty song. To a bunch of, even my parents hate this song, but I personally adore this song. And it is Joy from a band called Apollo 100. Now, unfortunately, as much as I love music, I am nowhere near a music expert. So I couldn't tell you what's the origins of this song, what it really means, what the career of Apollo 100. Do I look like Todd in the Shadows? Yes, me and Todd have similar body structures and similar tummies and guts. But as far as me being a musical expert in any regards, I am definitely not in that regard. I just know that it's a nice song. I like it very much. Now, this song is surprisingly a lot shorter than the version I'm going to play. The version I made an MP3 from extends the song to an extra length, but it's not too noticeable, and it is such a good song. I don't know why. I listen to the song, I just feel happy. It really is joyous for me, at least. But yeah, I hope you enjoy Apollo 100's song for Joy. I'm going to close out the night on this song. Again, everyone, thank you so much for showing up. And to anybody who's watching this in the future, thank you so much too. You are all well appreciated. To all of my subscribers, I know I don't do as much videos as I should, but I'm going to try to make an honest change about that in the near future. But for the most part, thank you so much for just showing up, everybody. And you are all well loved and appreciated. So let's end the night on a high note with Apollo 100, the song Joy.